Futures little change here this morning as we get going on a Friday. Just hearing Canadian employment change numbers coming through here. Lower than expected, 14,000 versus 21,000 expected to the upside on this side of the border for last month. So another number not great for the Canadian economy overall. Markets, though, south of the border, a little bit positive here for the S&P, the NASDAQ, a little bit red as we get above the 6,000 mark for the S&P 500 for the first time. Ton of things moving around this morning. One of the biggest earnings nights last night and mornings this morning for earnings reports this reporting season. A lot to go through. I mean, Rivian, Airbnb, Block, just to name a few. Net was another one I saw, a huge one. We'll get into some of these. Lucid reported as well. Downside this morning after a nice pop after the close yesterday. Paramount, just to name a few. We'll get into all of these. Pinterest as well coming through with earnings. So a ton of individual catalysts, individual movers this morning. Upstart, I mean, 20% to the upside here for Upstart. Impressive to say the least. Nvidia as well. Everyone talking about Nvidia after the close yesterday. I read a number of analysts with notes getting that coveted #1 market cap spot away from Apple.
It feels like it's always wrestling that one and Apple for that #1 market cap stock, but for now, it seems like Nvidia has really clinched that area. There are other earnings too. Monster Beverage, the energy drink company, they dropped a report. Affirm dropped their report. There's really DraftKings as well. Like, there's really no shortage of earnings to talk about, and even the watch list really only scrapes the surface. Supermicro Computer also looking like it's trying to continue that 12% upside move we made yesterday.
Yeah, MNST, not one we typically look at a lot, but huge move, 4% downside right now. Not a heck of a lot of volume, not a heck of a lot of liquidity available here for Monster, but down after a miss for them. Yeah, SMCI finally getting some positive relief here, back to 27 right now. We're trying to get back to 27. It touched it about a half an hour ago after getting up to 28 early on this morning, still up better part of 5%. Michigan sentiment coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. It's really the only U.S.-based economic number that we'll pay attention to. Remember, there is some inflation data as a part of that. I think inflation going to creep more and more back into the conversation here as we head towards January and the next Trump presidency, the second term for President Trump coming up as he plans more tariffs, which are inflationary. Raheem is going to stop by this morning. We'll get his opinion on what this means for trade ideas coming up, going into the new year, specifically what sectors we should be looking at specifically on this side of the border, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And
nice to have Raheem coming through.
Love to have Raheem coming through. We're going to have Michael and Raheem this morning. It looks like it'll be a wild one. I think so. I'm pretty sure. But went through that entire opening crawl without mentioning Tesla. Fancy that. Tesla. I was just making up for it a little bit there. No, Tesla is going to probably tag that 300 today. I mean, we got like Nvidia going into the Dow, and that is at all-time highs. It's just been an impressive week, and I don't think Powell did anything that would change much. Although it was entertaining because, when the questions about will you step down if you're asked to? No. Can you be removed? Not lawful. Like, he's kind of gangster that way, Jerome. But you just got to go back to the well. Like, he didn't change anything, so going right back into earnings moving the markets and trend moving the markets. So I just think you stick to those couple of things, and we should be absolutely fine. And hopefully, we'll find some bangers as big as Jamar Chase dropping a bajillion points against my fantasy squad last night. So we got some work to do over the weekend, apparently. Thank goodness I'm not going to be watching.
I was facing Lamar Jackson, who dropped 40.
Yeah, so you got the same thing as me. Like, it's always fun when...
What did Chase drop?
60. He had the 3 touchdowns and 250.
That's going to be impossible.
So yeah, I'm going to lose.
Possible. Lamar with 40. I was like, he had like 8 at half. That game. Oh, by the way, Adair, you predicted the Ravens, and you were accurate on that one.
Did you call the Ravens?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I didn't see
it was 5.5. But the thing is, it was the last second.
Yeah, I didn't see the end.
They went for 2 and missed. That's all. Smart. I mean, I'm glad they did that. I think that was the right play, but they missed it. Bad throw by Joey B. And I think he had Chase open too in the end zone. Like 2-point conversion.
Would have been 62.
I really like SMCI today. I mean, we looked at Nvidia 150. We looked at Tesla 300. We're going to be all over all of that. But I mean, honestly, I think this SMCI has a chance today as well, up 5.5%. Our daily charts aren't going to be good enough because of the split, but you had that huge move down into $20. We talked about that off that earnings and the guide and everything like that. And now you're just coming back up. I don't think the stock is necessarily a long, as a stock, but as a trade, like down into here into 25.50 is pretty juicy. I wrote that down on the sticky note. And then I honestly think a 27 break. I mean, I think that's going to happen right now anyways, but I think this is something to look at. I wrote it down. It's only 8:30 now, so I don't think we necessarily want to take a trade that early. But at the end of the day, I like that break right there going through. So I think that's going to be something that we definitely have to look at. I did want to thank a good friend of mine here, Brian Shannon, who retweeted this, Kona here. And it's just funny, I want to talk about this because we do have a good friend of his, Michael Noss, coming up as well. Sir. So let's go over now. Thank you to Brian, and let's go hear what happens with Michael on a nice Friday.
Yeah, so much to talk about as far as what is moving, what has been moving since the decision has been finalized, and we get some clarity here, Mr. Noss. Welcome back. Monday, we were touching on the simple fact that the market was looking for exactly that in clarity. And once we get that, we see basically everything to the upside, it seems like anyways. It's worth kind of taking a step back and looking under the hood and finding all of the opportunities and really understanding, what is strong, what is weak. You wanted to talk about one today I don't think a lot of people have found or have been mentioning it.
Yeah, so thankfully that's over now, right? And now we get to go through and we get to look at the charts. We get to figure out what the market is thinking is going to be a good trade or a bad trade based off of this. Monday, I talked all about the seasonality. That seems to be happening perfectly the way it normally does. I mentioned if you have a Republican kind of sweep, you get this rip right off the bat. Now, the seasonality says 12 months out, usually something scary happens, so we'll keep an eye on that. But volatility is decreasing. Everything that the seasonality said should happen looks like it is happening. So what I want to look at is, and what I'm going to be spending the weekend looking at, is basically what does the market think of different sectors. Now, regional banks and Bitcoin obviously are the biggest winners here. Small banks make sense because I think they think that a new Trump presidency is going to lower rates, and that's going to be the advantageous to banks. But I'm trying to look under the hood for what's not so obvious. And the first chart I brought here is actually XBI, so the biotechs. So like Brendan's saying, everything was up. Biotechs was up as well, but the technical pattern on biotechs looks amazing. So if the theme of lower rates is going to kind of persist, that really, really helps out biotechs because generally speaking, a lot of these companies aren't making any money. And what they're doing is they're leaning on cash and debt in order to research things that hopefully will get them acquired or get them a good product down the road. So that lower rates thing is generally good for biotechs. And this is just a very clean technical pattern on XBI, which is the biotech index. So this is going to be one of the sectors that I'm going to focus going forward. Full disclosure, if I bring you a biotech, you need to understand that these things are incredibly risky. If they come out with good trial results, they can double, and then have bad trial results, they can get cut in half. So just trade those things accordingly. But one of the algorithms that I'm running, which I'm going to start teasing slowly to you guys, but in the next month or so, you're going to hear more about, looks for trend continuation and looks for these breakouts to new highs on strong stocks. And these are things that I've back tested going back to 1980, and I can get some data and some results, which I'll again show you guys down the road. So keeping with the biotech theme, one that came through yesterday is this VERA. Not too sure what these companies do as normal, but this pattern for me was it was too good to ignore in the biotech space. But again, this is a therapeutics company, so just all of those caveats would be very, very careful. This is the monthly chart of it. You can see that it hasn't existed for very long, only since 2021. Like most IPOs generally seem to sell off. This one's actually getting to new all-time highs, new 52-week highs, which is a really good look for this name with a nice monthly candle so far. We're only a few days into the month. Some fundamental data that was interesting to me on this particular name. is that they have 14% or about 15% short float. That represents 4 days to cover. So it's not crazy, but it could get going if things start pushing. Had 200% option volume yesterday, 3 times relative volume. So some interest in this space. So if we zoom down here to the weekly chart, I think a lot of viewers can see what it is that I'm seeing technically. Again, it was given to me by an algorithm, but we're going to use our eye to make sure that we like the look of it. That's looking like a pretty interesting smiley face to me, or a cup near all-time highs, which is fantastic. If you take the measured move from that cup all the way to where it is now, that's like $65 a share, which would be a pretty decent move. Into the daily chart, again, just to show this big smiley face. And then this $50 level, just on the next chart there, the $50 level has been massive resistance for this a few times now. It keeps hitting $50 and fading, and hitting $50 and fading, but putting in this really big cup pattern at that $50 share mark. So that makes the trade pretty simple to me. The next chart here is just the 30-minute chart, where there's another smiley face on the zoomed in 30-minute chart. So that, again, makes the trade incredibly simple to me. I'm looking for some good action today or tomorrow above this $50 a share mark. If we can get that, I'm going to get involved in this name and hope that this biotech rally that's been caused by the new administration is going to continue. I think $45 is a pretty decent stop for this. Absolute worst case would be the low of this cup, which is about $40 a share. And if that ends up working out, that ends up being about a 2-to-1 risk reward. So just a nice look on a sector, and just a bit of a preview of what I'm going to be spending the weekend doing. If you're looking to do some homework yourself, is I'm going to go through every sector that did very well this week because of the election, and I'm going to look at every sector that did very poorly this week because of the election, and then try to pick names that I think the money's going to flow into, because generally speaking, big moves like this are not a one-day trade. It takes a while for these institutions to buy into these positions.
Yeah, you mentioned the bank angle with the interest rates coming down, and financing becoming a little bit more easily attainable for some of these. I mean, biotechs, let's be honest, the majority of these are going to be on the smaller cap end of the scale. Yes, there are bigger ones, but the majority are not. It'll be interesting to see, just zoom out a little bit, not necessarily biotechs, but the entire small cap sector. We spent some time on IWM over the past few days here, noticing all kinds of relative strength as well. If you can apply that same theory almost right across the board, and if so, what other names, what other spaces can come into play there as well?
Well, there's a couple things going on. I'll talk about this as we get a little bit closer to year end too. But the first is, you're absolutely right. Small caps benefit way better from lower rates than large caps, because Apple can figure it out, right? A small, tiny regional bank is going to be much more sensitive. The other thing, which maybe I'll start talking about soon, which in the new Stock Traders Almanac, which I buy and then I read, basically talking about the January effect, which is usually small caps really outperforming in January, has started to creep up over the years, as they've noticed happening in October and November and December. And this is just the idea that, especially on years that you have people make a lot of money in large cap, they take that money and then they filter it down to smaller cap names. So there may be a couple tailwinds for the small cap space, which again, for us traders, is very interesting, because you can get a way better return on a small cap on a percentage basis than generally speaking on these large cap names.
One of the things that I think new traders specifically tend to struggle with is understanding when there is a change in the overall market and what is coming into focus and what is going out. So just understanding that, acknowledging we could be in one right now, I think is a good step.
Yeah, and I definitely think we are. I think over the next few weeks, the winners and the losers are really going to bifurcate here, where big, large institutions are going to try to take their bet on what's going to happen in the next 4 years, and we're going to see that in the charts, and then our job is just to identify and try to follow it.
Michael Noss, have a great weekend. We'll touch on a few more of these coming up on Monday. Talk to you then.
Thank you very much there, Michael. That Vero. Every time I see something similar to it, I'm like, oh, Vero. No, it's a Vero. And a lot of times you are looking for where those continuations are going to be in terms of crypto. What's interesting about that one is it's got a bit of a trend line going on as well on VERO. But shout out to the Nos boss as always. And I like that XBI.
Yeah,
I know you're in it. It's similar to. I mean, it's not like I like Viking for other reasons, but I think some of those types of plays can absolutely work. And when we talk about breakouts, there's nothing. I think a breakout is better when you get a consolidation sometimes where people give up on it or it maybe fails a break and pulls back, and you're getting the consolidated part on XPI right now. So you never know when something's going to happen. You could make that break out of this top or this breakaway next week. You could do it 2 weeks from now. It could pull back into the 50 period. Either way, it's the kind of thing you want to have eyes on because it's a long-standing high. And like, how long were we waiting for Bitcoin to break that top? And then was it worth it? So far, it's looking like it is worth it. So you got to be patient with these. Like the longer it holds those higher lows into the top, ready to pop.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to talk about too. I mean, it's always great when someone comes on that's much smarter than you and talks about a trade that you're already in. So yeah, I mean, I really, really like this one. It's like Raheem coming on here and recommending a stock, and I'm like, haha, I'm in lower. Like that never happens, But there it goes right now, breaking through 104, 105. So I mean, again, I like this. We're in it sub $100 right now on XPI. It's for me. Sure, I look at it technically, yes. But I like the other part of it. I like the fact that we're going to be entering a new phase of buyouts now with the new administration. Hopefully a little looser on the restrictions. So that's great for this space, right? And then obviously as AI and everything like that, this is sort of one of those alternative plays to AI, in my opinion, as we get more and more advanced in what we're able to do with technology, maybe drugs. This is not a healthcare, but all of that becomes more efficient. And when that happens, maybe you can lower some of the costs associated with developing some of these drugs and actually getting them to approval faster. So I like XBI. I like a lot of the names that I'm in there. I'm still so overweighted technology. It's ridiculous. But here we go to save the day. It's Captain Randy is here, and he's here to stay. All right.
Boom.
Well, thank you.
Trading juice.
Cheers, Randy. How's it going? We had Rivian, we had Lucid last night. Yeah, Rivian. One's going one way, one's going the other.
It's actually not that bad for Rivian.
No, I think it's pretty flat here into today. Yeah, into expected. I mean, we have the notes about Rivian there, and we'll talk about it. But they, I think it was only minus 19 cents or something versus minus 42. There was something a little bit of a better number there coming through. Sales missed, of course, 874 versus 1 billion. So on that one. But that was the other thing, right, is that they're talking about supply chain. So
we worried about the credits going away?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Yeah, well, when they do, then that sinks a lot of this. I mean, I feel like myself, too, like if I was going to buy an EV, I would definitely be more attracted to a federal tax credit.
It was a positive report yesterday. Again, supply chain with a decline in sales not helping the cause, but good things in the works. Their efficiency program at Normal is on schedule. Costs are coming down. Supply chain costs. Yes, we're still in the negative on EPS, but still losing money per car. How long it'll take them to sort that out? Fingers crossed.
Not too long, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'm just saying. But it's holding $10, so at least there's some buyers in the $10 level. I'd be wary of it had it lost. I was just looking up this Pineapple Energy. Like I heard in my ear, I heard Pineapple. I'm like, ooh, Peggy's making a run. So I don't know. I didn't really catch the news there as we were talking to Randy. But Pineapple Energy is making a move here pre-market, up about 19% on some pretty decent volume. Didn't really catch the story as we were talking to our good friend and hopefully Rivian Whisperer. $10 better hold today, or it's in trouble.
All right, Raheem Alani, as mentioned, back with us on a Friday. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. To give us a bit of a roundup here on not only what has happened this week, but what we should be looking forward to going into the new year on the trade idea side of things. Let's start macro. Let's start, higher view here. I mean, I just pulled up this is a 15-minute chart of the dollar index, the USD. If you go back to election day, it's done nothing but go straight up. We had a bit of a pullback yesterday, but here we are this morning once again, creeping back towards 105. So dollar ripping, all the conversation seems to be about these tariffs, which is inflationary, which means yields and bonds are going to be higher as well.
So great points that you brought up. I thought I was here to talk about the Ravens' massive win last night, so I'm a little underprepared. But the Ravens had a good game, so that's going to put inflationary pressure on ticket prices in Baltimore. But no, in reality, the tariffs are an interesting thing, particularly for Canada, where we are given so much of our goods come from the U.S. given that our biggest trading partner is the U.S.
Yeah.
So, reports are suggesting that Canada's GDP is going to be hurt anywhere between as low as 0.5% all the way up to 5% over the next, 4 years. Like if you just imagine inflationary-wise, grapes or watermelons, whatever you get from the U.S.
Sure.
during those winter months that we can't grow them here, how much that price is going to affect us as Canadians. So massive inflationary pressure there. The U.S. dollar is right-sizing, as you did mention.
Yeah.
And the inflationary play is gold on the other side of that. How does gold always get affected? And gold is a U.S.-based currency item. And so gold on the first day did take a hit, and now we'll start to move back the other way because gold is still going to be gold. So interesting times post-election.
Yeah, I want to dig into that a little bit because Sharif and I were actually having a conversation on that, the morning after when it was clear, which direction this was going to go. Gold down, 4 or 5%, or GLD, the ETF down 4 or 5% here. I mean, there's the whole idea of people taking money out of an asset like gold to put back into equities that were absolutely screaming at that point. But just talk through the trade there, the idea around that.
Sure. Gold, like we talked about last week, actually, the thought process was there was going to be tension in the election. There might not be a winner for a number of days.
Yeah.
Senate, House, how's that all going to go? It's going to be a divided thing. And then it became clear that it wasn't. And so when people were putting money into gold leading up to it, the assumption was that.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. So then people said, oh man, I think I might have overbought on the gold side, pulled back a little bit, possibly money going back into equities, possibly money into other things. But gold wasn't that, oh my God, we got to get into gold to stay safe from what's going to happen here in the U.S. political situation. So there was that first initial dip, but now we're seeing gold continue to get back onto where it was. And I still, all the forecasts still have it going for all-time highs into the 3,000s into next year.
It's been an amazing year.
Yeah.
Let's talk banks. Huge move south of the border for banks across the board day one. I think it was Wells Fargo up 7-8%, like moves that you don't typically see for those types of stocks. Even here on this side of the border in Canada, the big banks, pretty impressive. Let's start here with the difference between our banking system and the U.S. banking system because it's vastly different. But where's the opportunity going to be? Raheem's adjusting Raheem's microphone as I'm throwing it to him. It's okay. It's on the wrong side. There we go. Thank you, Raheem. Much better.
Thank you. Now you guys can all hear me. Let me talk about the Ravens again.
No, we were just saying, from a higher standpoint, banking systems in general very different.
Yeah, no, banking systems are different. We are a oligarchy, if you want to call it that, in terms of banks. We don't have 74 different banks that we can go to. We've got 5, call it 6, depending on how you view Canada. So it's a very different environment here. Loan loss provisions were a key reason that a lot of Canadian banks took hits in the last couple of, call it, quarters. BMO, which is one that's got big U.S. exposure, still has another quarter where they're still a little iffy about what's going to happen. But some of the ways that Canadian banks have diversified a little bit is making acquisitions, are making acquisitions in the United States. So as an example, Scotiabank owns 4.9% of KeyBank, and KeyBank went up. I don't know exactly how much it went up the other day, but KeyBank went up. So that Scotia had a nice delta run with it. So the Canadian banks are going to have these nice moves because of the fact that they have exposure to the U.S. And like you said, these U.S. banks have had nice runs up. There still are going to be inflationary issues that are going to affect Canada more than they're going to affect in the U.S. And so that's going to affect interest rates. It's going to affect people's mortgages. It's going to affect people's spending. And that's going to affect Canadian banks. You're not going to see as big a run up. And we've always said that Canada is, a slightly different proxy to the U.S. Everything's just a little bit smaller, whether it's the run up or the run down. The deltas aren't as big with the Canadian banks.
I want to show this real quick. That's U.S. ETF Bitcoin inflows in a week, record highs. So
for some seen that chart. I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
No, it's broken down. It's broken down by individual ETFs. Here. So this is IBIT, which is the gold is IBIT, which is the biggest one and the most liquid. But it's impressive to say the least. I mean, there was a huge run up going into the month of November, and then once we get some clarity here, it's clear what people want.
Yeah. Donald Trump has stated he wants the U.S. to be the epicenter for all things crypto, wants it to be the global hub for crypto. So, which is a stark contrast to what the past 4 or 8 years have been. So it was no surprise to see these crypto movements happen. I don't think anyone expected it to be as big as it's been, but I remember on election night watching, my phone and watching TV, and then I got a pop-up saying crypto is just, now that it's clear that he's going to win, the run on crypto just during that couple hours span was incredible.
Just amazing. Yeah, we touched on some of the overnight trading that happened here, not only in crypto, but across the board was just unreal.
Yeah.
As far as the individual names that we can look at in this space, give us a few here. I mean, you mentioned BTCW as one.
Bitcoin. Well, that's one, again, just with the adjunct to being in the crypto space. That stock's moved back up to kind of where it was a couple of years ago. So it had a nice small run post-election, and almost every single one has seen that run going back to where they were. Again, I don't know what that chart is, but about a year ago, probably, right?
Yeah.
So you're seeing those moves back there for sure.
And then the bigger case for a Solana or a Doge.
Yeah, Solana. There's a company called Sol Global. They've basically said they're putting all their eggs into the Solana basket. And so same thing with that stock. That stock, again, was in the 60s and 70s, came down to, I think, 5 or 6 cents. Once they made the announcement into Solana, that thing went from 5 cents to 15 cents over the last couple of days. So a lot of people are finding different proxies as well. Instead of just putting their money into Solana or into Bitcoin or whatever that is, there's different currencies and equities that you can play with that side.
Just to bookend this, going back to the tariff angle and talk a little bit about resources specifically, because the last time around, it was the resources that we saw the tariffs being put on, steel, lumber, things like that, coming out of Canada, going into the U.S. What do you see from that space going forward?
I think, Donald Trump, when he first came in 8 years ago, Keystone Pipeline was something that was going to happen. Joe Biden put an end to that. I think we're going to see Keystone Pipeline come back on again. And that's going to mean a lot of oil and gas processing will get done in the U.S., but that's also going to mean a lot's going to come out of Canada. So that's definitely a good thing on the energy side. So definitely look at there hasn't been a new refinery built in the U.S., I think, in about 50 years. So if you want to look at sort of that side of things, look at refineries, look at cross-border oil and gas trades. For sure, that's something that's going to be a very interesting play. And given all the building that's going to happen, they're going to build, baby, build, right? So all those things are going to require copper. They're going to require different forms of energy, because he's probably going to kibosh a lot of solar and wind initiatives out there. So you're going to see uranium run, you're going to see lithium, and you're going to see copper. All those things are probably going to have nice moves as well.
One of the things we started this morning off with was the simple aspect that, as part of what we do, we have to be willing to accept the fact that things are changing, and it's how you adjust and when you adjust that sometimes makes all the difference. This could be one of those times. Yeah,
no, this is definitely going to have to be depending on your thesis. If you believed in the green economy, last year, 2 years, last 4 years, whatever it was, that's going to change. Things that Biden put in, the Inflation Reduction Act, all the spending that was happening there, all those things are going to change. So as long as you're, cognizant and willing to understand that some of those ramifications are geopolitical, but some of them come into the world of equities, and finding what those opportunities are. Like I said, as a refinery hasn't been built in 50 years.
That's crazy.
You need things to build a refinery, so don't just look at the refinery, but look at the ecosystem that goes into a refinery as well.
Materials.
And they're making government lands available now. Federal lands are probably going to be made available for all of these things, energy and mining.
Fascinating time. Good stuff. Raheem Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups. Appreciate you coming in on Friday.
Anytime.
As always, thank you, and shout out to Raheem. That's so important. Like, don't just look necessarily at the refineries, what goes into it. It's always about, sometimes you can get the nuts and bolts as well. But when we talk about crypto, which obviously a lot of people are paying close attention to, I mean, MSTR, you could pull up, there's a lot of charts we could pull up to exemplify what's been going on the last couple of days. I'm just choosing MicroStrategy here. But that was a huge run in yesterday's trade. About a 10% bottom top move here on MSTR, and just making fresh highs alongside of Bitcoin. And there is one thing here, and I know J Mod and C Battles and a few people have said, CleanSpark is halted for an information request by the NASDAQ. So, and you can go to, if you're ever curious if a stock that you're looking at isn't trading and it's halted and you want to know the reason why, just go to NASDAQtrader.com and you can find the trade halt page, And then you can see T11 there for CleanSpark. And you will go over that, trading halt for information request by the NASDAQ. I tried looking around. I couldn't really see what the issue might be. I'm sure if you dig hard enough, maybe you can find it. But when it's this condition, you don't know when it's going to open up. So there is no, until this gets updated or maybe a news comes out on CleanSpark, we won't know exactly when it's going to open up. So there's not much you can do about it. This isn't like a volatility halt where you know it's going to open in 5 or 10 minutes. We'll just have to keep our ear to the ground and see what happens with CleanSpark, which had been participating just like all of the other names in the group. It had a great day the last couple of days. So very interested to see what's going to happen there. It could be anything. I'm not saying it's bad news. It could be anything.
Yeah, good note to have a quick watch there as we talk about some of the crypto names. I mean, 260, 265 for Coinbase. I mean, I don't think I don't know. I mean, Ethereum right now is going to knock on the door of $3,000. Bitcoin right now 76.3. I mean, we continue to climb higher here. This break, even of 260, seems fine by me, man. I mean, taking that out, we've seen monster runs in Coinbase. I mean, yesterday morning, this was 240, and then we got to that 260. Obviously, it's bigger runs because it's only a $20 run on $240, but still, like 8, 9, 10%. It's a huge move up. I think we can break this. So it's just a matter of watching out. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of other stocks. We always look at Mara because of the volume that's involved with this name as well. So this has another potential to break this 1950. I just think all of the cryptos yesterday's highs are all in watch just because it looks like we're trying to go again. So, I mean, for me, it's a long. We can, as we get through the rundown, we have to go because we've had a couple guests here. But as we get through the rundown, we'll talk more about Bitcoin and stuff like that. So we'll look at the Bitcoin chart soon. But for right now, yeah, NASDAQ starting to break a little bit lower. What an epic week it's been. It hit all-time highs yesterday and made new all-time highs. So no surprise that we're getting a little bit of a pushback right here. I have a lot of long ideas. I have a couple short ideas on this sticky note as well. But I'm excited for those long breaks on Tesla and Nvidia. But maybe that doesn't happen. So we're going to have to maybe settle down here and start to possibly look short. I don't know. We'll get a better feel here in the next half hour.
Maybe pins will set up.
Yeah.
But before we go back to the desk, DJT's made a bit of a run. That late move in the afternoon that dumped on DJT, it's basically gained most of it back, if not all of it, back above $28. I mean, there's not, as far as I know, there's no story here. It could just be a little bit of a relief rally here in the pre-market on good volume. So good volume here on DJT, much more in the pre-market, I think, than yesterday at this time, and right back above that 28. This has pulled, obviously, there was a bit of a sell the news event, as you guys can all see, but trying to hold on to some support in front of that 50 period. Looks like there's an early bounce here in DJT. I did pay for locates just to be ready. You never really know if it's going to go absolutely ham and do something crazy and create a reversion or lose the bottom. And they were, I feel like they were the same as they were yesterday. I don't think it was much of a difference. It was, like just under, or just over a cent per share or something like that. So pretty much the same as yesterday on DJT. No reason for the spike here, but that's going to be on watch. I mean, the same way SMCI just kind of moves every single day and gives you good volatility, DJT is doing the same for you, long or short.
All right, are we ready to go back over there?
Oh, no?
No, okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to possibly think about what the play would be today. And so when I look at what we're doing right now, this is the NASDAQ. We just made these highs, right? Here's the pullback. There's really no levels here anyways on a 30-minute chart that we can really look at because we can drop all the way down to 20,750. That's the next area where we broke out from. Well, that is like 400 points down. I don't see that today, right? So then we're going to have to look maybe and figure out what else could possibly happen. Well, here's a daily on the Qs. So this would bring the triple Qs back down, and I think this is more likely back into this level from August as a support area, 505, 504. So I feel like that's something to look at if we do drop into there. So as far as a trade is concerned, then you're gonna have to look at something like the TQQs, at least I do. And yesterday we had a big trade there on the Fed. So that was good. We had the long rate when Fed came out, so that was a really good one. We actually bought this dip right there off the 200 period. But you see what's happening now? We're underneath everything. This is why I'm trying to think about shorts. 82.50 possibly as a short. If we run up into yesterday's high of 83, that could be another one to look at for this. So I'm actually actively now looking for shorts in the NASDAQ. I do have break long levels. I still like the Tesla break long 300. I like Nvidia breaking 195. That's soon. 150 coming up on that one. And then, you know, a play that I know Raheem talked a lot about Canada and a lot about crypto, but today we have China coming back in a lot. FXI down 5% right now as the China stimulus doesn't seem to be stimulating the market that much. So that's a nice move to the downside. I'm trying to get short at the 200 period, 32.50 as well. So any kind of a pop-up in China, we're shorting that. Any kind of a break in those tech names, we're going long. And then I think a short in NASDAQ back to VWAP, if we can get that, that would be one thing. But I mean, I'm not going to go short the NASDAQ if I have a long Tesla and long Nvidia on. So they're kind of each their own, and we'll just see which one sets up. Today could be after, it's been a big week. So after a big week, maybe today's the day that we take the foot off the gas a little bit, or maybe we just push it a little harder. I mean, we're ready to go and ready to rock. So let's go back over to Brendan and figure out what the trade is going to look like today.
So many to choose from. Let's get right into it. If you haven't done so, go down to the description of this video. Top link in that description is for the watch list. All you need is your email address. And then you get everything you need to know in one neat and tidy package sent right to your email every single morning before we come on at 8:30. A lot to look at today. I mean, we can talk super micro here as well, SMCI to the upside after just a brutal week. But let's touch on Nvidia because it's noteworthy. I wanted to bring this over for everyone to see. Here is the list as of the end of day yesterday anyways. Nvidia takes over top spot ahead of Apple, ahead of Microsoft, ahead of Alphabet. I mean, it was a matter of time. But I mean, this is 5 trillion Canadian, if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, that's quite the move there for NVDA. It's not super surprising. They have that rally. They're near 150 now, so near brand new all-time highs here for NVDA. And they also are the only Mag 7 name that has yet to report. They're set to report, I believe, after the close on November 20th. So we've got about a week or so, about a week and a half until we get those numbers. But that could be an interesting make it or break it level for what is now the largest company in the world.
It was a matter of time, as we said. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, NVIDIA is typically the last one to wrap things up on the earnings side of things. But there's SMCI you were mentioning as well, trying to hold on to. 26.50 here, rejected 27 there early on this morning, guys.
Yeah, we're just talking to our good friend Raheem a little bit there. But look, when we're talking about, and we're going to talk about all of the chips and not just SMCI, but we know they're not out of the water. There was actually a really good, I was listening to, essentially there was a firm that, like an AI forensic firm, which sort of flagged some of the irregularities based on their search parameters of like hundreds of thousands of SEC documents. And then they called out on, on another program, they called out that they are actually looking at another firm in a biotech that had similar flags to SMCI. And I know Sean's gone over that one already, but you have to have it on radar because if it breaks back out, it's just a simple relief rally. Nvidia, I think we all wanted to break $150 except for, I don't know who. But if it's like right now we're red and it's trending back down. So it looks like we're headed for a date with the support from yesterday. Like the afternoon support was, or the late morning support was 147.5, like right in here. So I think that's the spot. Like if we're going to trend down and there's not going to be a $150 break, then to me that's the area to look for. And in the chip space, and I don't like picking on AMD, but the truth be told, AMD, when you look at the daily chart, it's just not Nvidia. And it hasn't been. And it wasn't as explosive yesterday, and you can see where it got to. It got to $150 on a dime and then didn't break it. It's underneath the 50-period moving average. So even if it broke 150, like you still have some overhead resistance. It's holding underneath this prior low. Like to me, this is the one. If we're going down today, I'm looking for dip buys, like I said, on Nvidia, 147.5. And if that doesn't hold, I mean, 145 is the only other place I'm looking locally. It's AMD that's the short underneath 150. It's not the same. And I know it's had some impressive days, had a great day yesterday. When you pull up that daily chart, it's just a different story for AMD.
Yeah, look, I had Nvidia written down here on the sticky note, I believe. Sometimes, yeah, just as a little note there. So I wrote down 147 long support. I think this is going to be more important for today, as we just talked about. I mean, I talked about where we like to get short on the NASDAQ. So I still believe in that trade. But 147 right here, that could be sort of the dip buy area that I'm looking at right there. So if we can break through sort of this support there, I don't really want to get interested or involved until 147. I mean, to think Nvidia can't drop down $1.50 from here is crazy. It would easily give this up. I mean, if the algos turn on a Friday and just want to sell the highs, I could see this name getting back in, right? I don't care about the market cap. That doesn't really matter too much, except for maybe psychologically it took over Apple, but I don't think that surprised anybody. So yeah, 147 is good. That top right there is 146.50. So I think those are the dip buy opportunities. And then obviously we were praying yesterday at the end of the market recap show, as Daryl will remember, that we are hoping to get an opportunity to break through 150. Well, that opportunity is here, and I just hope it's not one of those bite into the apple and get the worm. So we'll wait to see what happens with Nvidia, but I like the long there. I like it at 147. My bid's already in.
Let's go on to Upstart, just a monster move here. Not only after the close yesterday, we're still holding on to a better part of it, trying to get back to $65 here. I was just reading through some of these analyst notes. I mean, it was still loss, a smaller than expected loss, 7 cents versus 15, but higher on a forecast that was in line to slightly better than expected. Again, 16.5%. We're well off the highs here for Upstart.
Yeah, and they have a 31.6% short float. That's a huge thing to remember with UPST. But as Brendan was just alluding to, lots of positive analyst notes. Piper Sandler actually upgrading to overweight and raising its price target from $31 to $85. But yeah, smaller than expected loss per share, sales beat, and actually we've got some increases here on a quarter over quarter and year over year for both their total fee revenue and their lending volumes. So not a bad report at all. Looks like there's lots of increases, so that's always a good sign.
I was just looking at Boeing here as well. It just popped up in front of me. It's not really doing much. 151.75. If you missed it this morning, Boeing said they were going to repay furloughed staff, but also proceed with further job cuts. So after we get that resolution or apparent resolution to the strike, just tag 151.75 there, guys. Positive, anyways, for Boeing as well.
Amazing that, like, you know, you could be an upstart here and be a business that doesn't even make money. And this is the kind of reaction that happens to the stock. So congratulations to everybody. Upstart. Upstart loses still 7 cents per share. But it was better than the 15 cents that everybody was expecting it to lose. Some of these, I mean, this is the thing about like a Palantir. Like when these companies finally start making money, then what the heck is going to happen to the valuation at that point when actually companies and funds and all that can start buying the name, right? A lot of funds won't put money into names that are losing money. And Upstart, once they finally start to get that right. Now, I don't know if they've guided positive or anything like that. They guided 180 in revenue, which I guess is part of what's better here. They come out with 162 versus, I mean, that's not even that much revenue, but 162 million versus 150. So a heavy beat on rev. And it's starting to go back up to the upside. So they beat on revenue, they beat on EPS. So it's a nice top and bottom line beat. Not much to argue with it, other than the fact that we always say play the gap into VWAP, but now you're underneath VWAP. I feel like this gets hit to the downside there. But again, that's why I pulled up that daily chart to show you guys that we're already up here. We've already had this 74 area seen, and then this happened to it. So I'm gonna just say let's wait on Upstart. I would short this 69 and then get out if it breaks 70. But 69 is now 8% higher than where we are right now. So does it have it in it? I mean, probably. And part of what's fueling this, and I was looking at a firm, is only 7% short float, but Upstart is 32% short. So that's why when I look at that quarter, I say it's a great quarter, but you know, does it really need to be at this level right now? I mean, I guess so. Huge move up there a couple days ago, right? I mean, this just 2 days ago, this was $47. So what has even changed in the situation other than, yeah, we know small caps are going up again and their quarter was better. So I guess that adds 25, 30% to the stock in a couple of days. I mean, a lot of this stuff is bubblicious, and I prefer watermelon.
I'm not a huge watermelon Dumb fan?
You're not?
No, not really. It's, you know what? I don't know. That's probably surprising, but
I like the plain flavor too, just a normal bubble.
yeah, I'm very
Man, that should be a new thing. There, we got to figure out the
Boring,
Bubblicious or Hubba Bubba. Hubba Bubba.
Hubba Bubba is legit.
I mean, they're both
legit.
I like watermelon.
I think trying to go for rationality when it comes to something like an Upstart, like, you know, it's squeezing. Okay, so and if it's gonna squeeze, then I need to have like levels breaking tops, or you've got to like it's in a downward trend this morning, so it's held on to like this higher low, which to me that's an important one, like 63.5. Like if you can hold on to that end of the range, then you have a chance to make a rounded bottom, hold VWAP, and break out one of those tops for a squeeze. And like Sean said, like you've got room to some prior highs if you zoom out far enough. So there's still some room if it can do that, but it's downward trending. And so as long as it's downward trending, I'm not that interested in catching a falling knife on Upstart. If it starts to form an uptrend, hold this 63.5. I think that's a good spot. Put some higher lows in. Right now it's got a local break at about 66.50, but this will have to wait for the open on Upstart. Like the juxtaposed positions between Firm, who also had the report, and Upstart. Like a Firm dumped and is now back to flat doing nothing. It's trending up, and then Upstart jumps and it's trending to the downside. So I think you got to see what the money does here at the open. It's a Friday as well, so be careful on those 65s and those 70s. I'm going to sit that one out on UPST, at least for now.
There was, as far as I know, there's no mango flavored Bubblicious.
If there was,
that would be fantastic.
Yo, you crazy?
Grape, a good one too. And yeah, mangoes are not melons.
Greatest fruit ever.
People are. All right, so 9:15, Rivian. What about that, Brendan?
How about that?
Nothing good, that's for sure. It is green this morning, but barely. I mean, I think the lack of reaction in general to these earnings tells the story here. We're just sitting on $10. Investors hoping for the best, I guess, but the company reaffirming their production targets for the remainder of the year. But specifically in the forecast, pointed out government credits making up, a majority of that, but said they're still going to hit that 52,000 goal, still losing money, still pointing to supply chain issues. My concern with this is, as you and I were just discussing, Trump comes in with tariffs, the cost of him getting these parts to make these cars starts to go up again.
Yes, especially given there is a part shortage, which RJ Scaringe said was part of their issues here in Q3. They said they weren't able to build all of the products and the mix of products that they planned. But also, interestingly enough, he actually did address the change in administration, saying that the company is closely analyzing a variety of outcomes that could play out with the change in administration. So these outcomes are likely not positive, as you and I were discussing, but clearly trying to bide time there. Although it's interesting enough, our CEO RJ Scaringe also said that their supply issue won't extend into 2025, which again with tariffs is also kind of unlikely. So
he hopes.
It's not a great outlook there from CEO RJ Scaringe.
We'll see if they actually get to this production number, guys, but nothing terribly positive to look at here other than $10.
Yeah, like it's not down. It didn't make a fresh low. There's a 19% short float. I think sometimes like if it's not that good of a report, and I don't think anyone's going to sit there and say it's roses, well, it's flat, slightly up on the day. So you got to at least try to find some semblance of positivity in that. At least I'd hope you can. So like the fact that it's above 10 is about the only good thing. I don't know that I see a trade in it today. If you're not moving on earnings and you have a 90% short float, like wake me up when it's breaking 1060. Like that's what I would have been looking for today. I want a short float stock to break some kind of a level out. So unfortunately, I'm just not seeing it. I think the positive is it's holding 10. I think if it loses 10, there might be some kind of a trend into those lows that you got to watch out for. The EV name that I think everyone cares about is, well, I shouldn't say that. I think the EV name that we're interested in trading today is going to be Tesla. Obviously, it's headed for 300. It's at 298.5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty darn close to it. Like I said in the afternoon show, like we didn't come all that way. It got 98 to 99.5 post-Fed and then stalled exactly where it did in the morning. So I think we're headed for a test of 300 almost right away. And then it being a Friday, the 95 level. 90, obviously, that's where the big break was. If we somehow see that today, I think that's a go. But the 95 on a Friday, pre-market support, We also closed just slightly above it. That would be the dip level for me on Tesla, a little wider range on a Friday. And then the 300 breakout. Rivian no fly, though.
Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain Rivian today, to be honest with you. There's nothing happening over there. Tesla right now. I mean, yesterday, let's just call it like it is, man. Yesterday, this could have been the biggest trade on board. It didn't even turn out to be that positive. We missed the 290. You missed that. You got to start playing and figuring out what to do. So today, I just think it's a solid trade at 300 long. Whether or not it works out or not, I don't know. You don't have that crystal ball. But yesterday at 290, come on, it ripped up almost $1. Like you had to cross $1 to get any shares. And in our business, that's like, if you can get anything, fantastic. The momentum just started. We never saw 290 again. So I'm not afraid to do this. So we're ready to do it. So I put down a 294 dip buy. I wrote down on the sheet there that I'd take a dip into 293, just thinking that this could be a level. I mean, I don't expect it to get down to here. We did have some breakouts there at 293. So this is sort of the area. I'm going to start the bidding at 290. I'm currently bidding 294. If that happens, great. I mean, the more aggressive is 295. It's just how much do you really like the trade if it falls down? It's above VWAP, above the 200 period. Everything's good to go. There's the 300. Yesterday's sticky note, I have it right here. We said 290 gets to 300. That's a $10 winner right there. So, if we could do that again, I think 300, I mean, if that breaks, it's really just sky's the limit at that point. I don't think you necessarily want to get out. I think if you're going to take that trade and it fails on you, that's $3. So I think you got to try to aim for a $3 win on the majority of your shares. But you know me, if I get in this position and it's a dollar club winner, I'll probably take out 20% or so for that and then try to wait for hopefully 50% of it to the $3 mark, which gets us back to 297, which is the 1-to-1. So that's how I'd be basing out this trade. Look, it's already pop positive today. It's a Trump trade. If the NASDAQ gets going, I like it. I like it better than the Nvidia break at 150. So yeah, I have my mind on both of those. And then here's another play for you with only 7 minutes left or 8 minutes left before the open. I mean, I already have this break too, Apple. I mean, Apple breaking 228. I already have this one going. So if this can take out yesterday's high, let's go on that. Again, a positive name. Big market cap, has been lagger a little bit here. I like the trade. I like the name. And I think if you look back here, 228, we've seen it before. And I think this time when we see it again, it breaks it. And we continue to get up 230, 231 and change. So, I mean, there's so many great breaking trades that are available like pronto. That, yeah, let's get ready to rock and roll with AAPL.
All right, let's touch on another one here as well that's had a pretty good week. Amazon, downside a little bit here, holding under 210 this morning. There's nothing major as far as news concerned. This was out late yesterday. Anthropic closing in on yet another massive funding round. $4 billion investment was the initial number coming from Amazon. We'll see what this one ends up being. Nice level forming there around 210 for Amazon as well.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Apparently, Amazon is reportedly involved. We know they're not the only Mag 7 name though that's been involved in Anthropic. We had Google as well, Alphabet last year investing $500 million with the promise to invest another $1.5 billion at some point. So that's also in play here. This Anthropic, again, not the first of these major AI deals. We know that OpenAI had that $150 billion plus funding round earlier this year too with that valuation. So it's really interesting to see what we're going to have with some of these AI startups, all of which have at least one Mag 7 name behind them.
At some point, the numbers just become ridiculous for these.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there needs to be more than one, I think. Also, it was a pretty good week to be Jeff Bezos. I mean, every week's a good week, but yeah, $228 billion for Mr. Bezos now. He's still number 2, though, behind Elon.
Week for Elon.
Or Elon.
I mean, yeah. Elon goes up 20% on the election win. I mean, some of these guys. It just goes to show you, man, this is what investing can do for you. Exactly. These guys are all super rich because they've held stock this whole time. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a completely different situation. These are mega cap billionaires, if we could say that for sure. Mag 7, all these guys. But anyways, that's how the market goes. I didn't even, selfishly of me, I just said to Neil, I think I have to start to trim something here because I don't want to, though. I just said, why get out of anything? I didn't even realize Amazon got to 212 yesterday. Like this was like the vacation stock at 197, and I didn't, we haven't sold anything, and I don't know. I mean, the names could fall. Like this has just been such an epic week. Like honestly, like to start this week down like at this 194, 195, looking for a breakout, and then just like this has been such an amazing opportunity for all these big cap tech names to take profit and to see that Jeff Bezos story there. I mean, is there going to be more selling happening at these levels? For me on Amazon, it's down today. So I'm actually not on my radar. And the reason why is we just talked about it. I like the Nvidia, I like the Tesla, I like the Apple. All of those are long breaks. If there's going to be a short for the TQs, I think it's going to be at VWAP, and we're basically there right now. And I'm not loving that short anymore. We only have a couple seconds until these imbalances come out. So get ready for this. 3, 2, and 1. So what's Amazon doing right now? Nothing. So I guess there was no Amazon. Oh, what a surprise. Nvidia comes with a nice buy, right? Here goes Nvidia now, probably to the upside now, right? Palantir itself, $56 for Palantir. Someone, I think it was Chill Vibes, was like, hey man, Palantir 59, and you only meant 50, you put in the chat there. But that 59 is not far away. Look at Nvidia, right? It's on the sticky note as a buy. We just talked about that as well, both of us. And what a surprise, comes out as a buy right here. So for me, it's like, look, I like Amazon. I'm glad it's on the list. I own this, probably too many of them. But at the same time, I just feel like today is risk on now, possibly into this long. Let's see if we can continue back up. I guess they tried to sell it. You're now breaking through VWAP. I mean, Tesla might break 3 bills as we speak right now. So here's a nice move back on for Tesla. It was just 297.50. Boom, straight up to the upside. Now, I have these break longs to hit. I just hope these don't break and reverse hard, because it's going to be too hard to get out of them. All right, well, we're going to be in all of these, man. Tesla, Apple, and Nvidia, they're all going to break at the same time, I think. Oh, no.
It's possible.
We're not even going to get to Airbnb, but what do you want to say about Amazon?
No, I don't really have, it wasn't on my radar. I think like Google through 182 looked a little bit more appealing to me. Like that's the one I'm watching out of the Mag 7 that we haven't already talked about. So Tesla, to me, Tesla, Nvidia, and Google, Alphabet, I should say, the 182 rounded top in here. I just don't have Amazon on the radar. There's a weird thing happening at 209 where someone's holding it right now, so maybe you could watch that if you're trading it and playing over-under. But let's try to get to Airbnb. Not good.
For Airbnb this morning, down 7.5%. I was just counting up some of these analyst notes this morning. There's probably 4 or 5 negative ones piling on as we head towards the open here. Just made a session low. I mean, I guess bookings were the only positive number here. I mean, still positive month, really. 4.5% here on the month for Airbnb.
Yeah, I was going to say the bookings was the only positive metric. I saw they also see more growth in their nights and experiences. But, I mean, the rest of that guidance for Q4 is pretty bleak. So they see revenue between $2.39 billion and $2.44 billion. Analysts wanted $3.7 billion here in revenue guidance. So they missed by more than $1 billion for their guidance. Their Q3 results weren't great either, missing on GAAP earnings per share and missing on sales. Also, it's interesting too, I saw some actually positive analyst notes here. Both Piper Sandler and Baird raising their price targets, but they did maintain neutral on the stock. So really mixed analyst picture today. And it's interesting too when you consider that initial move sharply to the upside when that report first dropped.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. People tightening the belts, I think, a little bit and tightening spending going forward. We'll see what happens. I mean, hey, they're making money, guys. That's a positive.
You never want to see a stock do this, where there's that big of a move in the aftermarket on earnings, and then it's not just reversed, but then it's completely reversed and then holding underneath. Like that's pretty bearish for Airbnb. I don't necessarily love it. I guess the 50 period at $130, that would be like an SSR type bounce play because it would be down over 10%. The one I have on the radar for that is going to be Pinterest, because Pinterest, well, it's already down 10% and it's at a support level at 28. So looking for that mean reversion setup, but at the 28 level, if that goes and it doesn't give a setup, I don't take it. But if we do get a nice mean revert off of 28, that'll be short sell restricted on pins. Maybe Airbnb gets there, but it's not there right now. And Tesla is 70 cents away from breaking the top, and Nvidia is $1 from breaking the top, and Google as well. So the market clawing its way back into the upside, it sucks for Airbnb. You never really want to see that. Pinterest as well having a pretty rough go of it.
Yeah, with only 1 minute to go right now, make sure you do hit the like and subscribe. I want to thank everybody for watching, man. We're probably starting to put up some records here at Trader TV Live. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Over 8,000 of you right now tuned in. So keep the party going. Look, my stop, I mean, there's 298. That's the 50-period moving average. So if we do get into Tesla, which we probably will, I mean, if it breaks through 300, we're going to try it. We might miss it. I think I'm only crossed up 50 cents. I didn't actually have to probably double check that. All right, so right now, Tesla, we're trying to take that. We're trying to take some Nvidia as we go as well. So that's going to be 298 stop. So give it about $2. I think we can go, I think we might even just go $2 right in the first 30 seconds. So hopefully we can get that risk associated there. We like the Nvidia. I mean, if you're going to get more aggressive, 132, 149, 32 was been that top. I'm going to wait for 150, but I think Tesla breaks first. Apple's on the way down, so I'm not too concerned about that one right now. Dip by Apple at 226 and change. With only 5 seconds to go, this is brought to you by Firefly, the opening bell. 3, 2, and 1. Go check out Firefly, guys, and see what they're all about. All right, Tesla's falling back in now, 298 and change. So here comes Tesla back into the downside right now. 298 and change for TSLA, but it's just getting its wings about it. So that was a bit of dip by opportunity. Obviously, to sit there and predict that was too hard. We'll wait to see what happens. NVDA, let's go back over and check the next big runner potential. It is trying to go as well, just stops at 149, but the NASDAQ is not stopping. The NASDAQ is El Fuego. So what is happening right now? None of the stocks I'm looking at are burning up, but the NASDAQ is burning right now. There must be something that's moving around. Here, maybe it's DJT now, just joking, probably not. All right, here comes Tesla right now. It looks like it does want to take 3 bills. So a nice little resistance level there at 299. Maybe a potential to get long there, 299. Almost. Here it comes right now, breaking through. Let's see what happens with Tesla.
Yeah, it's right there, pretty close to it. I can't figure out what caused the market to go to the upside. Google wasn't breaking out.
Running there.
Nvidia wasn't breaking out, although we're coming right back up. Okay, so now Tesla's right back in to the downside. Let's see if it can. It's not going to get to VWAP. It might get to VWAP. If it gets to VWAP, that's going to be a go zone. Nvidia is trying to go. You're getting a pullback in Alphabet as well. So I got to get over to Alphabet as that's pulling right back into the 180 level. Tesla's not going to break, at least not temporarily. But Nvidia is now $1 away from its breakout price.
Nvidia might be the one.
It might be Nvidia first. It's looking like it's trending
there goes
toward
Apple.
it.
Apple broke. So, okay, Apple the one that I said
That's
probably
why.
doesn't go. No, Apple's not even that strong, man. I mean, it is. I mean, that is why I think the NASDAQ's trying to go. Okay, we're into Apple. So the one that I said, well, we're not going to get Apple. That's the one that we get first. So there goes Apple. And we are long Tesla. We just took a small, very, very small fill there at 290. We were on Apple. My bad. We put an offer out on Nvidia, on Tesla, but we meant Apple. All right, we're going to get longer here at 290. My bid is 294, so we're going to wait. We just have a very, very small piece of Tesla. We're going to wait for that. It's Apple right now that's screaming. So here we go, man. Let's just get some more out here on Apple. Let's go. This is a big money trade right now on AAPL, trying to break a little bit higher. We just get a 40 fill right there. So this is 31 fill. Long at 06 is now on Apple and trying to maybe buy that dip in Tesla a little bit, but so far so good here on Apple.
Yeah, good look on Apple. The market's about to go green, so maybe it's like Meta or Microsoft or something. I got to go check in a quick second, but Tesla did come in. It tried to snag VWAP. It couldn't do it. Was able to get some in front of 97s. Now we're back above 99 and cruising here on TSLA. Alphabet's also trying to bounce. Overall, the market is about to go green. I got to see what's going on over there in Alphabet. We just took some out of Google, but Alphabet bounced off the 180. It still hasn't broken that top underneath VWAP as well. I'm going to keep some eyeballs on there. My stop is underneath the local bottom, and it is holding underneath VWAP while the market is strong. So I want to keep a close eyeball on it. Okay, so Nvidia and Tesla, they're both going here. Tesla's about to break.
Yeah, we're really huge now. All right, we got 50 cents in the money on Apple. We're having this might be our best day all week. And then we also have this dollar plus right now on Tesla. So we both have it. Here comes Tesla right now, breaking through 3 bills. Let's go. I'm going to take some more out on Apple. Apple's absolutely screaming as well. We said let's try this long again here today. We'll get out some Tesla right here at $299.99 and some more Apple. But here we go, Tesla. It looks like it wants to break. We're already long. So as Apple, as OB Obi said last time, if you have the inventory, it's good. So we have the inventory right now. We are getting out more and more of our Apple as that continues to rip too. I'm going to go over to Apple just to show you, wow, what a trade on Apple. Breaking through 228. This has been a big position for me. So really, really happy here with the performance on AAPL. Now it's falling back in a little bit. So let's go back over to Tesla. And that's the one that all eyes on me, says Tesla, as we're trying to break through that 3 bills. We just got another piece out. We got 2 outs up here at this level. Again, decent amount of shares, trying to see what happens now with Apple up at this big level as well. So it's Tesla here. It's Apple bouncing around 228.
Yeah, great look. And look, they're really, there's obviously some traders that are stacking in front of that 300 level. So for now, it is still resisting. Yeah, there it goes.
Boom.
Just broke.
I didn't get anything.
I didn't get anything. I was up to 50 and no fail.
Bang! Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't get anything, but there goes Tesla right now. Monster wins, guys. $4 now in the money on Tesla as we continue to go higher. We missed it as well, man. We only crossed up to 50 cents there. We miss it, but hey, when you've got shares on, you get out, right? So it's a big move to the upside right now. Here we go. Let's go, Tesla. More at 301.75, baby. Bye-bye, TSLA. There it is right there. Have faith. Take the trades. Good thing we had that inventory from before. Shout out to our good friend there, Obi, who will be back on the midday. Oh, boy. This is now $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. Neil's got a good one. We've got shares on. This is starting to go. Right now, it's TSL to the A, baby.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I don't mind that we missed Upstart, but Upstart also broke out for anyone watching that. Tesla is now absolutely flying. We're headed to 305.
Let's go.
Every $5. Look, it's going to get there, but if you hit the like and subscribe, maybe it'll get there a little bit faster. Tesla's running, the market's running, pretty much everything is looking great. Even if you love Upstart, that thing is 26% to the upside. Take a chance, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I think it's going to be just like yesterday. Yesterday was a flyer. You had to sometimes get in. First available dip and consolidation is going to be the play. So the 300 break, play to 305, and then we go from there. Tesla absolutely moonshotting into the upside. I got to show you guys Upstart because this was another one. It's just a squeeze, everybody. You don't have to make sense of it. I'm not here to tell you that it makes sense why the stock is up so much. I'm just here to tell you that it's 27% up, and it did break out, but we're focused on trying to get that break on Tesla, so we missed Upstart.
Oh, man. I go on these little things every day, and I'm like, people, sometimes they don't believe, you know? It's like, this stuff is not possible. How do you do it yesterday, the day before, and then again today, and the day before that, and then again on Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday? It's sometimes you get the winners, sometimes you get the losers, but this is what trading's all about. And this is why you got to stick with the plan. Get in when you think it's right and just do it, man. There's the fade back into VWAP. There's another out, man, at 304.50. Are you kidding me? So it's been some great trading there for us on Tesla. And again, it's all about the sticky note. We talked about that, and there it goes. Good trading by everybody today. So congratulations if you have this trade, which I'm sure many of you do. Tesla will be number 1 P&L today, but not far behind it, obviously, will be this Apple trade. We were able to get many trades out on the upside of Apple. Hopefully, it continues to run. It is taking a back seat to things right now. I feel like, obviously, as all stocks are starting to go just a little bit. But again, a really, really big day on this side. Let's just continue to hold it and see where we go. The other trades have not really triggered in yet. We were looking for SMCI long.
Nvidia is almost close.
Yeah, I see Nvidia right now, 149.50. Yeah. SMCI is not really doing too much. We did have a dip buy opportunity there for SMCI. We wrote down 25.50 dip buy. So that basically is perfect, giving you that 50 cents, but it's Nvidia now trying to go. Apple actually lost this 228, so we'll have to look at that. We don't have as many shares on that anymore, and it's really, Neil, it's just all about Tesla, baby. I mean, this stock really makes the week already right there, so it's a nice little trade. What's up, A?
Great look here for UPST. This one pulling back a little bit with this most recent candle, but we actually eclipsed the $70 level, up 25%. They beat on earnings, getting upgrades from Citigroup and Piper Sandler this morning with a 31.6% short float for UPST.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, same.
I pity the fool that didn't. As long as you tried for the breakout, I mean, you fire the order, you get it or you don't get it. I crossed twice as much as yesterday and didn't get it. So we'll work back in if we get a dip. But I think Nvidia is about to burst that 150 level and continue to go to the upside here. So it's very close. I think it's going to come in here next. You can't really predict it. You saw how long it took for Tesla to break that 300 when it finally did. It was absolute wildfire, and it was a great move to the upside. It is what it is. But I did want to go back over. Upstart is
for sure.
Yeah, Upstart is still going. I don't want to chase this move. I was never really intending on it. Really just thought it would have been a local breakout if it held on to 63.5, which it did. So let's see if it pulls back into VWAP and gives us something nice through VWAP on Upstart. Let it calm down. When it squeezes that far, there's no chance I'm chasing the move. Like, come on, they didn't even make money. It's just a pure squeeze play. So Nvidia's about to break that 150. When it does, I'm getting in, and we'll go from there. I was looking at AMD for a short, but the market's now starting to scream. It did resist 150, but I don't want to sit out in front of this one. I need to see some actual weakness in the market right here to maybe look for AMD. You can hold under VWAP or the market starts bleeding, something along those lines. Right now, you just want to try to go for the long and strong here.
All right, guys. It's 2 trades. It's done. We're done. Like, the reason why I say this is that if you have these 2 trades and you've hit them with size, then your day is done now. So you can now take this as like extra income and be like, okay, you know, that was good. Now what's my next sort of thing to do here with my life? And go make some money somewhere else. Like, this is it. So, you know, again, just to let you guys know that we would be done now trading for the day. There's going to be lots of more opportunities. We're going to keep showing them to you. But the point of what I'm trying to get at here is this is what day trading is all about. It affords you this. It affords you the opportunity to do things like that. So again, just really, I feel thankful. We talk about it all the time to be able to sit here and do this in front of everybody every day. But just letting you know, like, that's it. So if you took trades the way I did right now, you're pretty much done for the day. And congratulations on that one. But let's go over to the desk and see what's up with Adara.
QBTS is up here. We are at high, making new day's highs as we speak, up about 6%. No news from today. Yesterday, they announced they're going to be taking part in this annealing quantum computing seminar. So keep an eye on D-Wave or QBTS with that catalyst in mind in this quantum space. They also do have a short float of about 10.5%, market cap of 310 million. Also sort of tangentially related, we have a lot of nuclear names running as well. NNE, OKLO, SMR on watch because SMR did have its earnings report last night, guys.
There was so much that we didn't get up because there's so much to talk about. We had 2 guests this morning, didn't really go over SMR. That's up 9 points today. Might hit that 25. It's at 23.5, but I think it's got that 25, the quarter insights. There was just a fail break at 305. And when I say fail break, I mean it's not at 310 yet on Tesla.
SMR.
So it is starting to pull back a little bit here, but the buyers came right in. We might not see VWAP today. Local bottoms at 303. That could be the ramp off spot. When that happened, like Nvidia, it was weird. Like right when 305 went up down, Nvidia, which was cruising to 150, pulled back. Like right in that moment. So I want to see us catch the bid off of VWAP in here. I still want to go for that 150 breakout on Nvidia, just not yet. Upstart might just not care. Yeah, it's not caring about VWAP. The squeeze is definitely on with this one. I'm just not going to chase it. Let's just go back to Nvidia and Tesla. Upstart's way too far gone, and that's not a move I want any part of that high.
Shout out to everybody that was part of the recap show yesterday. You want to talk about a fun recap show. Shaking my rear. You guys remember that when we talked about that one there? How funny that was? And now we're just like, what a move up for SMR. Okay, this is a double up. I just amazed at what's been happening here recently, right? I mean, we talked about the big move in the market. So not only are the accounts humming, but you know these trades are working out. Like I said, we go to the beach, man. We're done. Tesla right here, 298.60. We're long at. Like this is just like 305. We just got filled on. You know, we only have right now. Let's call a spade 10% left of what we traded. 10% left. That's all that we have left. Okay. We said 302 could be a thing because my stop was going to be 298. Right? And so, like, we took a lot out there at 302. Then we're like 304, fine. 305, even better. So there it goes, man. I mean, just like absolutely stunned here by what's been happening And then not only that, my largest holding is Google, and that is like really starting to go upside as well right now. So there's been a lot happening in this market, and we're just getting ready to rock and roll. I put a bid in my own account yesterday on the after show. If you guys were watching, again, go look at it. As soon as DraftKings came out and it went to the downside and we saw the report, I turned to Adair and I even said on the show, this is a buy down there. And unfortunately, it didn't stay down there for that long. And that's exactly what happens, is when everyone thinks the same way, it kind of gets right back up. But DraftKings in my own account is there today, ready to trade. So if we can get long at $35 in my own account, that'd be real nice again. So I really like DraftKings. Great report, good trade there, and I think it goes higher. So I like DKNG for sure. We've been getting out right now of pretty much everything that we have. Like I said, I was really happy with the way today started. So we're still long at 07s, but I'm going to get out some more right now on Apple. We've been able to get it out at the 40s. It hasn't really traded that well for me right now. So a breakthrough of 227.70, we're gone. I'll try more, a little bit more at 228. Let's just let it go now to see how high we can get. I'm going to put an offer near 50. If we can get that, then great, and we'll work on it from there. But I'm going to also put another bid in and around 228 just to get like maybe a third more, and then we're out of this one if we break this level right there, 227.70. So let's just put that stop in, 227.69. We'll get out if it breaks that, but today a trophy day, and I hope it is for you guys as well.
Nvidia is dropping pretty hard right now. That falls, it did not get to 150, and it certainly did a big reversal. So, you know, when you have this kind of a trend down, I'm going to look for a shot here. I want a higher low on it, but Tesla is a juxtaposed here. Tesla is still holding out that top. When it curled off of 305, that's when I went out, and I think Tesla getting to VWAP is more enticing than falling knife. So let's see if Tesla can get into VWAP. It looks a little bit more enticing than catching a falling knife over on Nvidia. Obviously, we didn't really talk too much about DJT, but I wanted to get quickly over to that one. Not completely ignoring it. It did a drop and is now trying to pop. Feel like this is about to break out the highs. If it can break out the highs, it's got room to that 30. But it is Tesla coming back in here. If we can actually get to VWAP, first look, dip back into VWAP. And then from there, $300. Like VWAP, $300, obvious levels on Tesla. Adara.
Another earnings name here on Watch, we've talked about quite a few, but Sony, S-O-N-Y, U.S.-listed shares of this company, which is based in Japan, up about 10%. They beat here on earnings per share. They missed on sales, but they had some decent year-over-year increases as well in some of their categories. Game and network services revenue up 12% year-over-year. Operating income up 184% year-over-year. So generally a strong report for S-O-N-Y, guys.
Yeah, I just real quickly here, as we were taking this, we took that long right there on VWAP and got out at 20s. So we already took 20 cents on this. That's the whole risk of this whole reload. So we're kind of rolling this for free right now, but it's not working out, this dip buy in Apple as the market comes way back in. It's funny because remember what I said? We want to go short up here on the TQs. And it was right. But you know, we had the long there. We had the long in Tesla and the long in Apple, so we did not want to sort of double that up. And we did talk about that. So
feels like a real.
I'm fine with what we're doing right now. Okay. Oh, so sorry. There goes Apple. Still a very, very profitable trade.
Okay, that's whoa.
Still a profitable. Wake up. Still a profit. I mean, if you're not awake from these trades, maybe you are now. Yeah, so still a very, very profitable trade for Apple. Apple's still going to be right there, man. And all you trade for is to make money. And that's what we did. So we sort of said that, sort of said our piece on that front. We're still going to wait to see what winds up happening with Tesla, man. Good trading, obviously, on that name. And I don't think it's going to get any worse. So far, so good here. TSLA continues to be that one. Apple did dip down in. It is coming back up now, but we got out right there on the 50-period moving average. Again, just too good of a day to be fighting this, even though normally I'd stay. Like yesterday, we got stubborn with Palantir and able to make it back. Today, that doesn't even matter to me. We've already made the money today. We're out. I hope I did a good enough job of telling you guys that the amount that we made is enough to shut it down for the day. So we're ready to go. That's ready to rock and roll. We still have this Tesla trade on as it approaches the high of the day. Let's break through this 305. We called 305. We're out on this name twice right there. Let's just see if it goes, man. Yeah, so far so good here. We got Tesla long and waiting to find something else to do. Good dip by there on Nvidia.
Yeah, look, Nvidia is still trying to go up. Like, Tesla is going to break the high of the day again. I wanted to dip on Tesla into VWAP. It looked like we were going to get there. Obviously, we did not, and Nvidia decided it wanted to go. I'm just going to do this for Upstart for anyone watching it. It is now 35%. It just broke $75 on Upstart. Like, it's squeezing. I'm just going to go ahead and slap the fail on myself for that one. Like, all we had was the Tesla break, and then we actually didn't even get the 300. But Upstart, it was a squeeze. If you got it, great, congratulations. It's now way too far gone. And what's crazy about it is Tesla continues to run, is Affirm is bleeding like it's bleeding. I almost said something inappropriate, but like Affirm is getting crushed, down 6% and trending to the downside while Upstart screams. And if you can tell me that one report was vastly different from the other or much better than the other, then you know something that I don't. I can't even explain that logically, but you don't have to. It's just price action is price action. So I'm not trying to catch any bottoms on Affirm, although at some point it could go SSR. If that happens, fair enough. Wow, Tesla. Tesla is all fuego.
Guys.
El fuego.
Guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, it's $8 here off of your free sticky note level. And it's not like we say that, it is free, of course. But it's like, this is every day. How you trade it is how you trade it, right? There's nothing else to any of these things. But there it goes now. I'm waiting at 306.50, a little bit higher than that. I just pushed offer enter when it was up there. So if we can get it there, we're at 58 actually. So there it is. I mean, there's the trade. These are real trades. I mean, this is real trading. And there it goes. So, yeah, I guess all in all, my bad. I guess we're glad that we didn't stop trading right away, but we basically did. This is still the same position. It's just we didn't get out of it. So let's just continue to do what we're doing here, man. Continue to hold on to these big wins, and then just continue to prove every single day who we are and the trades that I'm putting up. So this is helping me not only hopefully get some sort of street cred, but also for myself. Giving myself more confidence to be able to do this over and over again. Ultimately, I do it for all of you, but I'm doing it as an income. So that's what it is, right? I mean, we'll host a show. That's all great. We'll take that, but we're trying to trade for income here. So it's a nice little move to the upside right there. And so I'm going to take another piece out. So now we only have 5% left. So yeah, this is the best week of your trading career, says Coffee Trader. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're not putting up numbers this week, it's probably, you know, just figure out what your style is. I mean, it has nothing to do with someone's numbers versus someone else's numbers. Just everybody has their own style. And some people don't like to trade earnings. And you know, that's true, right? I mean, some sort of a calmer markets. There's a lot of traders, like we have Sharif on board here as well. He'll talk about trading sort of the gappers and the runners like that.
DJTs.
So, the DJTs of the world, which we haven't even looked at today. But we know what we're doing, and we prove it every day. Right, we're going to be, you know, the head trader at Real Trading, and we're putting this on every single day and just showing you guys what exactly is happening. So, I mean, congratulations to everybody, and let's just keep on having a great time and doing what we're doing.
There we go, and shout out to DB. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to everyone that's having a blast. I was just about to go over to DJT for you guys, anyways. Appreciate the super chat. Funware reported last night. Look, I didn't read the Funware report.
You did it?
Look, I can't pretend that it mattered that much to me. But Funware was down and was like $5.50. I think at the worst, DJT just tagged 30 and is starting to pull right back in. If you want to look to where it might bounce, prior support or prior resistance into support, right in here, $28.50. Funware, like obviously DJT is flying. And Funware is trying to get back to the upside. It's down 10%, so at least it's an SSR bounce. That's what I'll give it. But I think Funware, when DJT goes down, this might be back on looking for shorts. It is SSR, and it is distinctly different. I feel like if you're trying to go long one of them, it's just got to be DJT and not Funware. That's just the way I look at it. So there was no pullback into VWAP on Tesla. I can show you what's going on with Nvidia, and it's not yet looking all that strong. It's trying to put in a higher low. It can't seem to get back above VWAP as we speak. The market is strong, and Nvidia is holding red for now. I want this one back to green and above VWAP instead of catching a falling knife. Otherwise, priority should just be getting back into Tesla. I'm pretty close to saying Upstart is getting completely out of hand. If it gets to 50% up, if it gets to 50% up, I'm going to look for a one-shot reversion trade, kind of like ARM yesterday. But like right now it's at $77, and I just can't. Yeah, it's just a pure squeeze play, and it's a very steep trend. Since it broke 75, it's going to put another one in. Maybe it gets to like 80 or 85, and I would take one shot at it for a reversion, just like on ARM yesterday. But you got to sniper in and be willing to just have your stop because it's a runaway freight train here. Doesn't have to make sense. It's just a squeeze.
Yep, I like that. Yeah, things do not, I mean, that's a great call. Things do not need to make sense, right? We've sort of talked about that a little bit here. You just got to try to play, and I see Coffee Trader there figuring out that he's a momentum trader and things like that and breakout trader. I mean, and that's exactly what we've turned ourselves into these days, is looking for trades that have momentum and then looking for trades that make sense to us. And like yesterday's Palantir, which we haven't even looked at yet today. Let's have a quick look at PLTR and see what that's doing. But okay, so here we go. Oh my. Oh my. Some of these stocks here that are in the old PA are really starting to get exciting one more time here again. I mean, they've been exciting all week. Palantir is now $57. This is almost a six-bagger, almost, right now. And it's like, again, big trade there. We really, I might have to, I probably will log in after this and get some out on Palantir. But then if I get some out, then what am I going to, how mad am I going to be when this name's $250? I mean, Palantir continues to move. By the way, still $7 in the money on Tesla. Like, I'm just kind of a little bit shell-shocked right now about all this action. So, all right, Apple, Broadcom, SMH shaking our heads as well, SMR. Let me have a quick look at SMR just so I can get those happy, good vibes again on SMR. So, I mean, there's another one for everybody. Another play that we had put on recently, and we had sold Alibaba at 117 and put some money into SMR. I mean, that turns out to be, again, real right. Like, we've been really, I feel like I need to get some sort of a lottery ticket at some point here because all these things are starting to turn out. And it's almost like when the trade is too overcrowded, you know, it's going to go the other way. So I don't know. I'm getting those feels right now, but staying long seems to be right. And it hasn't been hurting anybody yet. Apple breaking back above 228.
Yeah, Apple's starting to go, but I'll tell you right now, Nvidia is not participating in this move. And I don't necessarily like what I'm seeing over there in Nvidia. It led me right back over to AMD. Just very quickly, AMD's underneath VWAP. It was already a little bit weaker. So what I'm looking for here, if it's not Upstart at 80, it's just a pop and fade on AMD at VWAP. And it's a weak name, relatively speaking. NVIDIA is trying to do the same thing. Let's go to Adara, but that's the plan of action, although if Upstart pushes to 80, that could change. Tesla doesn't seem to want to do much dipping at all to get back in. Adara?
I'm just seeing on my scanner that DXYZ, Destiny Tech, that ETF looks like it's running a bit as well, so beware of DXYZ. But I want to draw your attention here to CMPO. This is Compo Secure, not a super small market cap here, $1.2 billion market cap, and a 51% short float. They did miss here on their earnings per share. They beat on sales, and they lowered here the top end of their fiscal 2024 net sales guidance. Came in below estimates here, so mixed report from CMPO, which is trying to battle back this morning with volume, guys.
Okay. Oh my God. All right, let's try to just do some more damage on this. All right, so NVIDIA's not really giving it to us. It's going the other way, so no comment on NVDA yet. It's at 148.50, but we always have comments on things. So let's have a quick look here at AMD. All right, so again, another good name here. Like the stock, you know, probably undervalued a little bit considering the run that we've had in the chip space. I know it's not everybody's favorite name. You know, there's sexier names out there. I like Broadcom. We saw ARM the other day make some moves as well. But for right now, yeah, why not have a quick little look here at Advanced Micro Devices underneath VWAP, underneath the 200, underneath the 50. This to me is looking like a short. I'd like to wait for it to get to 149.50, which is basically right here, right now. The only problem is, as I look at what this market is telling me, the market is telling me up. So I'm not going to take this short right now. But if the market can sort of come down, and I'd rather be short right here, like breaking this bottom than being short right now. Because if the market, I mean, the market's coming back. So this could be one of those ones where we look back and it's like, man, you know, but we're fine if we miss it. This is a decent setup right now. Underneath everything, bouncing, looking red against the market trying to figure itself out. It looks like the market might want to go red here. It's already red, but back down into the downside again. So 149.50, something to look at now on NVIDIA. And by the way, I'm not going to hit the in the club thing again. I want to make sure that everybody understands this is $9 now. And we can all see that it's $9 in the money. That's great. But it's just a matter of that everybody could have this. Neil had this. We all had this trade. Okay, so anybody could have this, and you could actually have more if you crossed up here as well. So now this is starting to really pop up. I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm trying to prove every single day that this is what we do, this is trading, and we've got it for you here every single day with these winners. And if you don't have the winners, have risk. Have risk associated so you can get out of your position. Not every single day are all the trades going to just blast off like this. You're going to have stop orders. This is a $9 winner with a $2 stop. So, I mean, it's really starting to pay off right now, that kind of mentality and those kind of strategies. So, again, best of luck to everybody as we continue to move forward. I'm still waiting for that Nvidia to break, but the futures aren't giving me any sort of reason to do anything right now.
Yeah, okay, I might have had it on Upstart, but you know what? I did it on ARM where I was like, this doesn't look right. And I did it again on this time. It'll probably be a mistake. Upstart was a moving freight train. I think I had it, but it hadn't closed underneath the trend line. So I did get out of it. It was violating an entry rule, and now Upstart's starting to pull back. So I violated an entry rule to get in. I took it out, and it might be bouncing to the downside. But the bigger miss was not having the long. Let's go to Adara. I think we actually have some numbers, so let's go to Adara.
Beware, dude, GME is running again on no volume, but we do have this Michigan consumer sentiment number coming out here, right? Expecting it in the next 2 seconds. Okay, higher than expected, 73 for Michigan consumer sentiment preliminary for November. That is above the previous print of 71 and above the forecast of 71 and the previous print of 70.5. Now, these 5-year inflation expectations also above the previous print, 3.1% versus 3% previous. Michigan inflation 1-year expectations below, so 2.6% versus 2.7% previous and forecast. So the main 3 Michigan numbers, higher than expected Michigan consumer sentiment and 5-year inflation, but lower than expected inflation expectations for 1 year. Now we have the Qs trying to push higher here, trying to break into positive territory. It's been a bit of a choppier day for the market so far when you consider the massive moves up we had Wednesday and Thursday after that election. We do have a lot of runners, of course, to keep an eye on. There's been a lot of post-earnings moves. Affirm, Rivian, Lucid, all on watch. GameStop, as I mentioned there briefly, GME up once again with no news and a 9% short float. But Airbnb here, pretty interesting, running into some resistance, still down about 8.5% after its earnings report. They missed on sales, they missed on GAAP earnings per share. They guided revenue more than $1 billion below estimates, though there are some analysts, including Baird, raising the price targets on the stock. We have the opposite story here for Upstart, which is just running into a little bit of issues, but still here up about 37%. They beat on earnings per share, beat on sales, getting upgrades from Citigroup and Piper Sandler this morning. So great look for UPST, which has a 31.6% short float, guys.
Yeah, just running into a little bit of resistance. It is starting to dip back down, but it only went like $1.50 when the stock from bottom to top was up like 13, 14 bucks. So it is a bit of resistance. It's not a lot. I mean, Tesla, on the other hand, has one red candle. One red candle. Well, that one's kind of an indecision candle. It's about to get to $310. $310.
$12. This is why, I mean, I know you got out of yours, but this to me, and I've been preaching this for months, and shout out to Adam and everybody, Adam DeLuz and everybody there that comes in here and sees the kind of way I'm trading and comments on them and things like that. And I've been saying it for a long time. The thing that's really changed, that's made me infinitely better, infinitely more profitable, is the ability to hold these trades and be able to identify potential huge runners. And that's really worked out there. And then look at this. Like, here's a perfect example on Apple. I feel like this is almost perfect real-time example. Again, like, these are examples, like I said, in the wild, right? This is not like building something. This is like what I'm showing you right now is actually how I'm trading. Like, there's that break of 228. Did I think, I even said today, like, I was like, oh, Apple can get to that 231, 232 area, but it didn't. We had held, just in case it was going to go, we had held some. You know, we actually took some more back in when it came back into VWAP. But the thing is, once it broke that and it broke our levels, then we scram. We get out of that trade. So that therefore, we're still positive on it. It's still the number 2 stock today is Apple. So we're still positive on it. And we're out of the risk. Like, there's no more risk with this name. So it's like now we can sit back and say, wow, this one that's now an $11 winner is something that, you know, we risked $2 on. So it's like this is what it's about. This is why we're here. This is why we're in this desk. And hopefully why we're not going anywhere. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe, and let's just keep on going, and we'll figure it out. So, all right, Adara, what you got?
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial. Using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity, this data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Shout out to Firefly. Thank you very much there, Adara. So, yeah, NVIDIA is just not, you know, like, I'm pretty happy that didn't buy the dip on NVIDIA because it never looked right at any point. The breakout clearly is not going to happen today, at least not without a big V-shaped recovery, but it never looked all that good. Now it's starting to pull back into yesterday's support levels. So I'm just using the black chart because I got to get to AMD in a quick little second for you guys. So now it's starting to pull into that support level. If it can make some kind of a rounded bottom here, I'll like it better. But the market is starting to head down. The only new thing we put on outside of bungling Upstart, which I'll cop to, AMD underneath VWAP, it's now down to 148. It's only now breaking lows when NVIDIA already broke the low. So it's lagging a little bit here. But I mean, NVIDIA is NVIDIA, so sometimes that's just how it works. UPST, Upstart. If you want, again, like all I did was violate an entry rule, which was the only observable trend was this one, and I got in because of a candle wick, which is not the reason I should be getting into the trade, so I got out of it. And it's going to end up working, and then you look at the entry, which I probably could have had if I'm not in AMD, on the trend. Closes underneath, you're short there, 2 there. It's a little bit cleaner, but it matters. Like, your execution plan matters in that particular case. Upstart's probably going to pull back into VWAP at this point. Tesla's doing its first dip, and it's probably just because NVIDIA is dragging everything down a little bit here. But now you're starting to line up where that first line of resistance where I covered is going to end up being VWAP. This is more or less what happened yesterday. We had the exact same thing. Like, you had that first line of resistance, or actually it was the second line of resistance, and you pulled back in, but you just couldn't see VWAP yesterday. So I don't want to be married to that notion. Wherever it catches a bid, 05, 06, or 04, almost don't care. It's only in AMD to the south side as the market is holding red. The NASDAQ's going to hold red. I just heard DJT in my ear, so probably going into an uphalt is DJT. DJT about to halt. Too late. DJT's halted.
All right. Let's go. More money, and it seems to be less problems right now because we buy that dip. Again, it's a sticky note dip buy opportunity for NVIDIA. So we buy 147, and now we're in the money a little bit. We're going to take out a dime right here because of what Neil mentioned. The market is coming back down. Our risk is only 146.80 right now. 146.80 is the risk here on NVIDIA. So, you know, let's just continue to watch it. We'll see where we're going with it. But that's where I'm looking right here for NVDA as a possible spot to get out if there's a problem. So right now, 99 of them. This definitely not one. Let's go again. Winner, big winner on Tesla. Hopefully we can put that same sort of feelings on NVIDIA, Neil. There it is. It's another 30-cent winner. Like, again, lottery ticket, anybody? Nice move back there to the upside. Now NVIDIA, number 1 stock today, Apple. Number 2 stock, NVIDIA. Number 1 stock, Tesla. 2 Apple. 3 NVIDIA. NVIDIA is flying right now off these levels. So we've got AMD short over there. We've got NVIDIA long right now. NVIDIA is 50 cents in the money on this side of things. So far, so good right now. Now 60 cents. We're running this NVIDIA trade right back to the north side. We've got it again. There it is, Adam Deleuze. Oh my, he says, Neil. Oh my. There's another one right there for us today. It's Apple, it's Tesla, it's NVIDIA. So you're on AMD. Donald J. Trump saying he has no intention of selling. So nice move up there. We are now halted on DJT as Trump comes out and says no intentions of selling. But I have intentions of selling NVIDIA right now. It's ripping like crazy. What's going on over there?
And AMD's still going down. AMD's now like $1 in the money as it continues to fall. So look, NVIDIA is NVIDIA and AMD's AMD. I don't know a better way to put it. but this is the reason we like this one short. It is what it is. It's under the 50-period moving average. It was under $150. It's got 148 on the bid because the market is bouncing off of, actually, market's bouncing off of VWAP as we speak. So I got to follow a rule. We're at support, which means trail's going in. We're at support level on AMD. Market is trying to bounce off of VWAP. I'm going to put my trail back in through that 50 level. Funware, I was selling a bit of Funware in that halt of DJT. If he's not selling, Funware is SSR today. I haven't gone long that stock. Well, I don't think I've actually ever gone long that stock since this whole mess started, to be honest with you. But today it's SSR, and if DJT is going to run, then I don't see why Funware can't have some, okay, we missed it there, can't have some fun as well. So it's starting to go up. We'll watch. I'm not going to chase this because DJT yesterday when it halted up, it opened flat and actually ended up coming back in. So I don't want to chase Funware. I was just trying to grab it as it was breaking out through the $6 level. So I'm not going to chase Funware. We'll see where it is when DJT opens back up. But as I said, AMD, we're going to trail it in through 148.5. If it can't break the 148, look for a VWAP retrace to go short again on AMD.
So, wow, I cannot believe that. I mean, I'm so glad that you took that trade, but remember when we were talking about how good this trade was and that how much we liked that right there? I didn't even realize Neil was in that when we were talking about it, but that was the trade for me right there. So I'm surprised I'm not in it, but I'm glad Neil is. So that was a good one. I hope all you guys took that. I'm glad Neil did. All right, so $10. Hey, man. You know, it is what it is. We got to celebrate here. We've got the big trades on. That's going to be a good one as well. But yeah, so far so good. Here comes Nvidia breaking a little bit lower. We're not going to reload this. It's going to be a profitable stock for us, but we're going to wait to see what happens now with that name. So hopefully it comes back in. Like I said, I'm a little bit sad that I didn't take that trade. We looked at that AMD and how good that was, but glad that we got it over there. So yeah, so far so good here as the day goes. I mean, we are having quite a day here. We've talked about that, and I'm not going to be shy about that, right? So it's a monster day on Tesla. It's a monster day on, not a monster day on Apple, could be better, and Nvidia kind of just helping us out a little bit as well. So far so good. I am very interested in what's going to happen with DJT now because the rumors are out. He just came out again and said that, you know, there's probably he's literally saying there's probably short sellers that are in this that are claiming that I'm out, but he's saying he's not out. So, you know, again, thing is now that he's elected president, like,
why would he sell?
No, but not only that, but like he shouldn't be lying about this stuff. Like this is like I don't think you should be commenting on a publicly traded company.
But if he's telling
it's not the truth, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
If it's not the truth, right? And so I don't know, Fabian, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it is called True Social. So let's hope that he is being truthful about the shares. There it is. All right, so $30.75. We are starting to go back up to the upside right now. Watch out for 31 break. Wow. That's probably going to be a good long on DJT.
Oh, snap.
Probably should have just taken something there.
It just went.
I saw, yep. 30,
wow,
30
failed
nice
31.
Drop down into 29 and change. DJT, it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but there it goes right now. Good moves on DJT. 31 down to 29, does not halt, probably going to halt at some point. Remember, just because he hasn't sold doesn't mean this company's making any money or anything like that, but this is a trade that we put on not for fundamentals, baby. This is for momentum. So right there, if we take out that 31, I kind of like that again. We'll see what happens there. There goes 31. I like that long break.
It didn't break.
I know. Well, it did break, but it didn't go very far.
Oh, yeah. It failed to break.
And then there it comes right back in again. Yeah, I went to 31.20 I saw there, but at the end of the day, I still think it's going to go.
Yeah, that was weird. You know what? I must have just gotten filled before it broke. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I must have gotten filled. I think I got filled before.
Oh, what a good long.
Oh, what a long that was. Yeah, I don't think it had broken 31. It's now through 31 even. But sometimes that'll happen. Like you'll get a dark pool print that triggers you in or something like that. Chase. I got to get back into this bad boy. Break the 50s maybe. Yeah, we're just going to try to get off the 50s. There we go. So it did break that 31 after all. Prior low sits at 30.60 as DJT's flying. Funworth probably going too. I'm going to make the assumption, but DJT opened up. That's a bad beat on that 31. But if I'm taking a breakout on a level and I punch in and I see it hasn't broken, I'm usually going to quickly throw a stop or
Guys,
get it.
What are we even doing right now? There it is, spinning it again. We are long $31 right now on DJT. So again, like we're just trying to prove over and over again here, I hope anyways, that this is what trading's all about. Different styles, different types of games there. We're out of half of this trade as we watch out for DJT now going up and down. Out of half right now at those levels upside. Our stop is going to be 29. Could still lose it. We told you this is not necessarily in our wheelhouse, so that's why we're actually out of 55% of that trade as we watch out to see what's happening now. 31.30, stop at 29. We just took multiple outs there near 32. So we could wind up losing. You know, our best out there is about 70 cents there at 32 bucks. If it drops through 29, it's an L, let alone if it halts, it'll be even a bigger one. So we'll wait to see what happens right now. Dancing around here on DJT. So I see we're both long right now.
Yeah, if it halts to the downside, I'm going into Funware short. That's the plan of action. I just realized I didn't pay for Funware shorts today because it was SSR because they were down so much. So I got back in, finally got that 31. It did print up there in front of 32. I got halves and then 32s and then hold. AMD, by the way, AMD did trail out at that $0.50 as it is. I got to look back over at that one in a quick little second, but I got to pay for locates over there on Funware. I'm going to do that first. But I did trail out of AMD, so no longer in that short. I told you guys putting in the 148.5 trail on advanced micro devices. So there it goes. DJT just went down. I'm going to go process my shorts in Funware because if it halts down, I do want to be ready to pounce.
So you got out of DJT. We're still going to hold on to that. It's just bouncing right now. And by the way, Tesla is now, Neil, Tesla's $13 in the money right now. So, I mean, there we go. Huge trade alert for us on Tesla. We'll continue to watch everything else. DJT is like minimally a trade for me when we look at what we've done everywhere else. But let's just see what winds up happening with DJT. If we can put another win on the board, we'll do that. Again, we're long here, down $1 on the trade. I mean, I think if you're not holding $1, you're probably not doing the right thing. So here comes DJT right now. We're looking for more than $1, right? We took out half for that 60 or 70 cents. Could still be an L. You know, if it breaks through 29 is where I'm looking. So just to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at right now on DJT. So we are not out of this name. We're just out for profit so far as it keeps on coming back up there to the upside now. We'll see if it holds that $30. It seems like it wants to. I'm not going to average into it. Like if it holds, great. If it doesn't, great as well. Like, I mean, we'll be out of it. And that's that sort of, you see, like there's a calm nature about how I'm trading. It's like we get excited when we break stocks. I mean, we're holding shares, so when stocks move around, you know, we have to get out of them, especially for like little scalp trades sometimes. But at the end of the day, right? I mean, we get excited because of how we're trading and how these markets are moving. And then once we're in the positions and we can sort of see them, it's better to relax and see what winds up happening. I mean, up $13 right now on Tesla. That doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen by fluke. This takes a lot of training and ability and experience, I should say. The ability is just holding. The ability is getting in. You know, getting out is one thing, but, you know, being able to sit here and hold some of these trades, like I said, that's the difference, net over net, right? So there goes DJT. I know a lot of you are still holding on to this, so hopefully you're holding it with me. We'll see what winds up happening. If you are nervous about it, I could get out right now and it would be a profitable trade, but I want to see if this can really go. Let's just see what happens here with DJT.
Yeah, I just want to quickly show a bit of a divergence on AMD and Nvidia again. So I assumed that this was a bad decision at the time, but it looks like it might be okay. So I trailed out of AMD. Nvidia is still making lower lows. So I don't know that this necessarily makes as much sense for the reload on AMD if suddenly Nvidia is going to be weaker. That surprised to me. That's not at all what I thought was going to be happening between those two. So it is what it is. Might do that curl off of VWAP. We'll see if it happens. I processed Funware. It is, I can't believe it. It's like 1/10 of 1 cent per share on Funware. So it's like a tenth of the price of DJT locates. So I'll use that as a little bit of a proxy. But some strength coming into AMD, which is surprising me a little bit here because NVIDIA is still down that 1.5%. Just to show you what happened in Fun when there was even a little bit of a pullback in DJT. So if DJT halts down, I know where I want to be, and it is going to be in Fun instead. Already down 6%, and that's after earnings. Fundamentally, I just think a safer play to short. I'm not touching short in DJT. If I put one on, it's going to be in Funware. But I did want to make sure that, hey, if you're trading, we've seen the advantages of prop trading and trading someone else's money. As you guys can see here, we do trade as prop traders. But on top of that, got something to say to you guys. And it's trade the pool, because what they do is allow traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PD2T rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. The best part? This limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss the chance to explore this limited time offer. Shout out to Trade the Pool. And again, we talk about the advantages of trading on a prop floor. Oftentimes, reality trading is trading. The lessons you learn in trading are going to be valuable regardless, and the same principles are going to apply. But sometimes when you got a little bit of extra capital, it cannot hurt whatsoever. Let's get back on over to it here, guys. 312 now. 312. 14, 15. 14. $14. It is absolutely gonzo now on to Tesla.
It's got another water there. Yeah, Hydration Nation. I know Neil and I pounding back the waters here.
Well, I'm pounding back the coffee. I've been bad on my water, actually.
Same. Oh, boy. All right. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, today's my best day of the week. So, it's what we're doing right now, and we're having a great time doing it. And I hope everybody else is enjoying the ride. This Tesla, $15 now. This is just, we've taken, I think we've taken $30 or $40 on Tesla before, or definitely on Nvidia before when it was, those higher prices. But this might be one of the trades for the ages here. And why? Because it fell right into our lap. And we don't even have, this is the best. So this is, let me put it this way. This is the best day of the month for me. And we don't even have the 300 break long because we missed it. Like if we have that trade, then it's almost a completely different, then for sure, I can't have brisket again, but then, wow. Well, when Randy comes here, he's going to be all about this brisket trade anyways. But let's just go over and have a quick look at the longer time frame here for Tesla, just to figure out exactly what we're doing. I only have 5% left, So, but again, when we don't tell you share size, it doesn't really matter. That's why I'm trying to tell you what we have left on board here, because we all trade different share sizes, all of us forever. All right, what about weeklies on Tesla? This is not all-time highs because we had 408. So I just want to see where we're going here. All right, so that's 314, 315. We did top out to here. When was this? Back in 2022, August of 2022. Looks like 315 we had problems with. So that could be a spot right there, 315 for Tesla. I don't really have a stop order for this. We might just get out of this trade. I don't know. We always were talking about, again, and this has just come from being able to try to hold these a little bit longer, so trying to find out different ways to do that. But you could go by this prior bar high close right into here of 311. So 311, that would be 311.40. So why don't we just do that? Prior bar 5 minute, 311, and then when this closes, we can just keep adjusting that. So that would be something here that I've tried to do and try to hold something a little bit longer. So we'll just put that in right now. We'll probably wind up regretting this. 310.49. I don't even have a stop on this, so 310.49 right now for Tesla. We'll put that offer out there and then see if we can get that. So that's what we're doing right now on TSLA. We'll stop out for $13 winner. All right, so we'll get back and talk more trading, but for right now, she's over at the desk. She's got a green vest.
Great look here for IWM on the 15-minute chart. If you pull back, it looks like we have almost a bit of a bull flag in formation here for that Russell 2000, starting with that push up Wednesday morning, that gap up after Donald Trump's election. Now we're continuing to top and turn, slightly positive on the day and holding that support here. So Russell 2000 still below that multiple resistance area of 239, but not a bad look at all on that 15-minute chart. Lots of small caps to talk about, starting with InnoData, INOD, pulling back a little bit here, but still up on the day after a sales and EPS beat. It's also worth noting here they have a 15.2% short float. IonQ here, IONQ, they actually have a 23% short float, bit of a larger market cap, around $5 billion, trading around $14 right now. They do announce this deal here with iMac with regards to increasing the performance and scale of their quantum computers. It's also worth noting this is actually day 2 earnings move as well for IONQ. Then we have Indie Semiconductor, INDI. These one here reporting earnings. They had inline EPS and a sales beat, and there's also a 16% short float for INDI, guys.
Yeah, that's how it always seems to
Yeah.
work out.
So first off,
INOD something?
yeah, there was a INOD was moving around there a little bit. Then again, there's a lot of things flying around, but that I looked over at this stock and I was like, it's already starting to pull back. So sometimes it gets weird. Like it says DOG investigation, and then the stock is like only trending up. So yeah, about that, that's kind of crazy.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I see SOD, yes, Upstart is still going. It's up 38%. Yeah, you know, it was a bungle by myself, but I violated my entry rule with that one. That's all it was. It hadn't broken the trend, and I had gotten into it, so I got out for the L. And it would have worked, but then if I break a rule and it works, then I'm just going to break it the next time. So I tried to stick to it. We did try to suss out not getting into AMD because the same reason, like I didn't like what Nvidia was doing here when it was pulling into 148. And I didn't like what was happening here when Nvidia's still trend down and AMD's breaking VWAP, so no reload. Just trail out and then get out of the trade and then move on to the next. And that's the thing, like just different styles. For myself, that's how I want to do it. I didn't want to just get back into VWAP because VWAP is VWAP. It has to show me that it's working. That showed me it was working underneath VWAP. This did nothing of the sort. So just going to try to stay disciplined with AMD. Suddenly, it looks relatively strong to me.
Tesla's at $315 right now, $16 now in the money on this trade, and it's we had said that we were going to put something in for right here. So now that prior bar is closed. So now let's go to 313 here for a close for Tesla. If we could break back, okay, here it comes in right now. So we got to get this trigger possibly ready to go. So DJT, by the way, we got out once it broke 30. So if this breaks through I'm just gonna do this, like 312.98. If it breaks it, I'm gonna get out. Like, so here we go, man. Just in case you guys are involved with this, I mean, I'm just trying to be honest and give you guys where the stops are for me. So that is where the stop is. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit here, wait to see if we can do something here on on Tesla breaking through 313. We'll close that trade. So we do have a red name today. We'll see. We'll probably get it back. So what we're red on DJT is pretty small. Obviously, as we took some out as a profit. So we talk, our best fill there is 70s. Sorry, our best fill is about O's. So right at 32. So we were long at 31.30. So that's about 60 cents, then 70 cents, and then lose. We were out of 55%. We had 45% left. So then we'll lose $1.50 on the last 45%. So make 70, make about, on average, about 72 cents there. And then on 55%, and then lose $1.30 on 45%. So a red trade net there on DJT. So we are getting close to getting out of this one. It's going to be 10:30. The timing doesn't matter to me. When we're trying to hold something, I am trying to look at like prior bar break lows, right? And so this is something that I talked about. You're going to have Obi, and by the way, Neil's going to be in lovely Rome, so enjoy that next week. I'm sure you definitely will. Your wife's been messaging my wife about 1,400 times. Yeah, exactly. So I'll send you the bill later. But yeah, no, she loves helping.
No, Marissa,
we took a
you
lot
guys
of
went
pictures.
already.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so Shannon took the family to Rome. This is the first time we're going to Europe with my daughter. Marissa.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Ask as many questions as you
No.
want.
I
We want you guys to have a great time.
Like down to like there was like a finicky things about the condo and everything.
Yeah. She was asking like, does it have a hair dryer and all that kind of. No, but that's
like
cool,
all that
man.
important stuff.
We want you guys to have a good time. I mean, it's not our condo, right? We're lucky enough to have it through.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I wanted to just very quickly. We always talk about some things with our like PAs. I just took a quarter out. Well, I didn't just do it. I just got a quarter out for sure. I don't remember exactly where I threw my order to get a quarter out of SMR and my PA, but I know that it was between 24.5 and 25. It was probably most probably 24.69 to be honest with you. because I just do stupid stuff like that sometimes. But SMR is absolutely flying. New Era. That's actually not NE. That's the other one. It doesn't really matter. Not New Era. That's not the one. It was. Doesn't really matter.
Under
No.
Armour? What do you, NEE.
No, it was.
Well, no, SMR is called New Scale.
It was no, but what's the other one? There's an NE something that
It
also
is that. I
flies.
thought it was NEE.
It's NNE. That's the one.
NE is next
no,
tier.
NNE is the other one. That is also flying to the upside. NNE is the other one. I always mix those two up.
Nano-nuclear.
But nano-nuclear hasn't broken out yet. So this is the one that hasn't made the breakout. A bit of a nice bounce here after they did their report. So still looking pretty good. All right, so now Nvidia is starting to climb higher. Whoops, sorry, that daily chart's not split adjusted. You're getting a higher low setup here on Nvidia. It's starting to look a little bit better. If you can hold the 147, it's trying to break this 145. There was one other name that I completely neglected to mention. That's Intel, but it's not doing much, which is good because it means it hasn't broken out yet. So Intel's held on to 26 on the higher time frame. It's breaking out on the daily, and as long as it's above 25, my bias is long until it fills in the gap, and that's probably going to set up buys into the previous support levels, which is right around 26. A break of the high has yet to happen. It certainly could. DJT didn't halt down or do anything crazy, so we didn't do anything with that funware after all. So I was expecting if it flushed, then we would get some kind of a funware trade, but it's not happening. I'll just keep it on the back burner. AMD suddenly, like I said, looks strong to me. It bounced before Nvidia bounced, and if that's going to be the case, it's a back above the 150 level, which to me was an over-under. I think you can play some VWAP as long as Nvidia doesn't absolutely die. As far as Tesla goes, I hate the notion of a mean revert on this thing, but when this happens, I'll probably take a shot at it. And usually it goes from the last significant dip, which I would think is this one here at 307. So it's now gone so completely you-know-what crazy that if it does it, I'm going to take it. And usually these are pretty like in and out quick tight stops, kind of like on ARM. But this is absolutely nuts. And it's gone a little too far to look for anything up top. We do have to take a look at crypto. Let's do that at the desk with Adara.
Really quickly here, too, we do have some comments coming here from Citi CEO Jane Fraser to be aware of, saying that there are still questions over China stimulus as a growth driver. BABA pushing into lows of day, so just keep an eye out for those Chinese ADRs. CLSK I have up here for crypto because this one has been halted since the morning. We're not sure what's going on here, but just be aware of this CLSK halt. If I hear or see anything, I will let you guys know. We do have Bitcoin continuing to have this gorgeous rounded bottom look here and pushing higher here. Not a new high of days quite yet. That would be just below that 77,000 area. But we're pushing into 76.7 as we speak. So right now, BTC hanging out around that mid 76,000 level. Ethereum here, though, continuing strong. As Sean talked about earlier, edging towards 3,000, currently at 2,950 and up about 4%. Solana up 6%. XRP up about 1.25%. Cardano up 17%. It's a great day to be a lot of these smaller crypto-related names, guys. Back to you.
Outsized.
What?
That's outsized. Like Cardano's up like 5x what the other one. Oh, we should have gotten that.
What kind of a day? So you guys know my largest holding in crypto is Cardano, and you guys know that we're in SMR, and we have a $20 winner now. Let's just do this. Oh, we got to adjust our stop now. This is getting to be, honestly, I don't even, all right, 314. Whatever, man. I mean, the way this is going, like our stop was 311, 313, now 314. So we're just going to put this in. And you know what? Just flatten me when we get back up there. The stock is $320 right now. What the hell's for lunch? Wow, Cardano. I got to get in there and figure out that
Why
Cardano,
that one
like
today?
if I know.
No, I know. That's like an existential question. I just have I had no idea.
Let's have a look. Wow, right now it is $20 in the money right here. And we missed the big trade on Tesla, and we still have $20. That was what? Wow! Congratulations, Chef Joe, Adam, everybody that's out there today in this lovely universe that we call the stock market and day trading. It's really a shame we don't have more guys in there behind us. I know some of them are trading there from home. Here's Cardano right here, up 17%, 22% on the week. So Solana breaks through 200. Oh, boy. Wow. My lightest holding is probably Bitcoin, which is kind of crazy. Actually, I think it's Ethereum. But anyways, these it might be time, man. What a run. What a run there in Cryptoverse for all of these names. So again, congratulations to anybody that's involved in that. And I know, like, it's funny because like guys like Sharif was like, I like it, but I'm not involved. I mean, if you like it, you like it. Get that chip and a chair. I mean, you never know the prices. That's the thing. Just feel it's like it's one of those things where you just have to like it and believe in it. And if you do that, then you're in. If you don't, then you're not in. It is.
That's sort of the thing.
It is what. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't understand like how you could think it's going up, but then don't own any of it. So, all right, barbecue back ribs. I mean, I don't.
Briskets.
What kind of a day is this right now? We're having barbecue back ribs right now for lunch. We won't be. I'll be having the salad. And then
having the second half of my
Montreal
brisket.
smoked chicken drumsticks. Like, is this just not like a football kind of meal right here coming in? A perfect fall
$3.20.
meal? Back ribs, smoked chicken drumsticks. Like, is Randy in charge of this thing? Potato salad with dill pickle, peppers, celery, green onion. And then for some reason to top it off, I mean, I always like a Caesar salad with the ribs, and that's what's for lunch.
You might need to move that stop again, by the way.
Jesus, the notorious, just please us.
With your lyrical.
Okay. Obi, are you seeing this, my guy? Obi, we are long at 298.60 up in here as it continues to go. Small piece, but there it goes. This is the dream that we're talking about. 314, 315. I mean, what exactly are we doing right now? Is that my guy Joe back there? Oh, that's
Obi.
Yeah, man, we're still holding. Obi, next week you'll be here, baby. We'll be in the captain's seat. Obi will be here feeding with Neil. It's $320 right now. Wow. It is the hot dog cannon of the day. This is the trade right now. This is the trade to have in your account. This is the trade that you want to have. I mean, this has been a big trade. I'm just getting hyped up here just for jokes. I don't have that much. It's a trilly. We're just trying to go. It's a trilly. You're starting to go upside right now on Elon Musk. Hey, here, Trump. Here's 280 or 250 billion. In return, I'll take 100 billion, 250 million. He'll take 100 billion. Nice move up there for D. Trump and company as this name just keeps on cruising. Nice down upside move right now. Pull back just a little bit. Let's get our 315 stop in. Adara, what up?
Huh?
Wasn't Adara? Nope. Oh, that's right. It's the ad read. All right. E-signal. You want to do the e-signal read? 2, 1, lift off. All right, I'm going to get my stop in there for Tesla, but the thing about all of this is get involved with eSignal. Did eSignal give me this trade? No, it did not. Did it help me plot it? Yes, it did. Make sure you grab eSignal ASAP. Trade smarter, not harder. You know, I'm trying to trade as easy as possible, and eSignal gets me that opportunity to do that. So there it is, man, a nice 320 take on Tesla. Customizable charts, entitlements. You know, yesterday, number one trader at Real Trading was trading Hong Kong. You can do that with eSignal. Make sure you get it. Let's go. Thank you, Pitchbull. Thank you to everything. Why is Amazon dropping? I have no idea. Probably packages coming. But you can look at Amazon charts right there. You can share them. There's watch lists. There's screeners. All of that. You like retail, then you should like eSignal. What a fantastic platform. And man, yeah, we are getting a little hyped up here as we continue to watch this crazy market that is at all-time highs. A little bit of a pullback today. Obviously, the Nasdaq's still flat, but that doesn't stop some names, right? I mean, Tesla, both of us had this. I assume you had this. Obviously, we talked about it.
Yeah.
The 300. So for me,
the break though.
Yeah, the 300 break we missed. But we're lucky enough to get the dip buy and still be able to hold on to that. So, yeah, so far so good. I'm thinking 319 maybe just to get out of this. And then we'll just see what happens after that. But, yeah, huge run up right now in TSLA.
So I just tried it, and it was a flat trade on Tesla for the short. But it's set up. I waited for the short trade to come in. Pretty much exactly flat. It did print all the way down to 316. So it did go 17 to 16. But, I mean, a $1 move. That's why it's a flat trade. That's like, to me, it's just the first out there. And then the stop was pretty tight to break even, but it was just following the entry rule. Like, it did the wick and the candle, but now it's just headed back higher. You got to be able to get away from it. Again, execution strategy matters. Like, if I don't, I can just say I'm going to hold on to this forever. No chance that I want to do that on Tesla. We took the shot, and again, it'll be a flat trade, but that's only because I had a tight stop and only because I started taking profit on the first dollar move there in Tesla. This thing is an absolute rocket ship. Thomas Johnson just said Palantir bull flag in 5 minutes. I actually haven't looked at Palantir, so I don't know. But yeah, we can have a look at it. There's no reason why not to. Probably this is my 3 minute, so a 3 minute and a 5 minute are not going to look terribly different. Yeah, that's a bull flag. You know, I'm not a charter market technician, but I know one when I see one. Why is this chart still Tesla? Okay. But anyways, on the daily chart, it's also a bull flag, and it's all green. But absolutely, I see a bull flag there on Palantir as well. So where is Tesla? I want to get back over to it because I think that is
317.
It's still holding the 17 area.
Yeah.
Wow, it is an absolute rocket ship. If you're watching the tape of this, even when it gets back to that inflection price of 17, like it was just the bid was even stacking there, which is insane. Like that's a usual reversal candle. You know, like that's the place to take a shot. But maybe it just had to rinse some people out, and then it might try to do a bit of a pullback. Like VWAP is now $10 away, so you're so far away from VWAP, it's completely insane. Nvidia, I do want to play back over to Nvidia. Is it starting to roll back over here? It's just for some reason, probably Tesla related, it's not the one today at all. Like it's down this 1%. AMD is actually holding on to strength. So I'm going to flip the script and no longer be looking short on AMD. You just saw it bounce off 150. If this can hold consolidation up here, suddenly AMD looks like a long when I was only thinking short on this stock when we came in. We took our shot at it, it worked, and I think the thesis might be wrong overall on AMD. We got away with one.
Yeah, AMD was, all of these stocks I feel like a risky business here today, especially when we see the way this market is moving. So I still have the stop here. I could change it on Tesla. I'm still going to give it to 315. Realistically, that 316, if we're going on prior bar 5 minute close, you should probably be out right here at 317. We just have that 5%. But as Neil said, if we're looking like the prior bar closes, this is where we went long right in here. But we got too many outs at 305, 306. But yeah, Obi's here looking at the trade. A part of Obi is what he's talked to me, and it's his word, prior bar close. Like this is where I take it from. Yeah. So I've just looked at it for, what was that? I have no idea.
I do the same thing.
All right, so 315 right there. Nice out to come with if it does come back to the outside there. We'll take that fill on that. And again, it's just a 5 minute chart. Like the whole prior bar thing, it's up to whatever long your bars are. I mean, and how long you want to hold on to them. So we'll be a scalper here and take $17 on this trade. It is possible, and there it is right here. If this drops out, we're coming out. So break of 315, and we'll end the trade there on TSLA. It's looking pretty spicy though, man. I don't know. I almost think I want to get out if it pops back up into 318 again. So we'll have a quick look at that if that does make sense. We'll do that trade if it makes sense. So we'll wait for it. Let's see if we do resist. We just do resist that prior bar low, it looks like, at 315. So it's looking sketchy. I'm wondering about the short. You don't have it on, but I'm wondering about the short now on Tesla. So happy with it. My order's there. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. It does look like it's losing a little bit of steam. Adara at the desk, at the screen.
A lot of strength in this market, but especially if you go to this side of the board. We have Eli Lilly leading the health technology sector to the upside for the second day in a row. Consumer non-durables looking great. Consumer durables being led here by TSLA, not only breaking 300, but breaking into the 310s. We have utilities looking good. Producer manufacturing, consumer services, with the exception of Airbnb after its earnings. Great look here. Commercial services, communications, industrials, and finance. Now we get to the side of the board that is going to be a little bit more mixed, and this is the one that has all the mixed sevens. Retail trade here, Amazon bringing down an otherwise pretty strong retail trade sector. We know Home Depot actually got an upgrade this morning ahead of its earnings next week. And then we get to big tech. So we have electronic technology, Nvidia to the downside here, and a bit more scattered trading. RTX, though strong, we have some defensive strength. Then you get here to technology services, Meta, Google down, Microsoft a little bit down as well here, and Netflix. There's some of the smaller names in the sector like ORCL and CRM lifting this group up. So tech not leading the way today, guys.
It might be.
We got it.
I just said it. Tesla might be, for the first time, breaking the breakout trend on the 15-minute chart. So like that's how wild it is. Like you on the 3, like obviously if you draw it on a 3, it's a little bit tighter, but it might be actually breaking. We might have had it, but like I said, it's a rocket ship. I think you want to have a little bit more caution when doing a mean revert on an absolute rocket ship. So it is what it is. Ends up being a flat trade because I got some, but yeah, it might have been a re-entry when it came right back through here, but chasing it $1 is not going to make any sense. I did miss a super chat. Sorry, and apologies. I mean, obviously we're live here, and I was trying to find an entry back into Tesla. Might have missed it, but there was a few, and we got Keenan in here. Bull flag on DJT on the 1-minute chart. So I don't really use a 1-minute chart, but I don't think at the end of the day, it does look like a bull flag, right? So the breakout might not have worked. Now I had 2 of them. That's why I'm down on the stock. Like the first one obviously was no good, but I was in early on that one, so we stopped out. That didn't work, and then we got back into it, took some profit, and then had a tighter stop. But it is definitely bull flagging DJT here. It's holding on to the $30 level. It's holding on to VWAP. It's trending up. There's a lot going well for DJT. So definitely some relative strength in DJT. Like I said, if it loses support, I think this one is the one to play. Like, notice the difference in the chart. They're both at support. One of them's weaker, and one of them looks like more of a retracement trend here on Funware. So I'm just watching DJT. If I see it break down, I'm jumping into Funware. I have those 2 level 2s up, and then I have Tesla and Nvidia. I don't really have anything else that I'm looking at in this moment. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that was probably the time.
What happened?
No, Tesla, it's starting to accelerate through 15.
Yeah, we got out of that one. So we actually made a great call on getting out, I feel like, at least there for that. So far, so good on getting out of our Tesla trade. We put on our Palantir hat. Why? Because Palantir is the best company, and it continues to go higher and higher and higher. Not a endorsement of said company, but an endorsement of the investment, as we are up to $57. I'm like Neil, we'll probably get something out of our Palantir, and then something out of SMR probably, and then just wait. Because, the thing is that if you do think, and this is easy to say, hard to do, right? And that is like everyone's like, if the market goes down, I'm just going to buy the dips. Well, you got to have something to buy it with, and it's called cash. So, unless you're just dumping more into the market when these lows hit, that's great if you have that opportunity. But I sort of like to get out and maybe get back in if we can with sort of the same.
That's always the plan, yeah.
That's always the plan. Very, very hard to do said plan. But you know what? There's Palantir. I think it might be worth that. And then, oh boy, like not only did we nail the long, but we might have nailed the out. I mean, right now, if we just go short where we got out, then we are now we were just about $1.50, $2 in the money. We actually get that great fill on the way out. We got 480s there. So I guess, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that great after all. But we get an 80 fill there on the way out, 214.80. So our break was going to be 98s. We get 80s. You could see the spread, I guess. A lot of people probably looking at those levels. I tweeted it out, and then there it is. So now we see what we can do here on more downside action now in the market. So we'll give it a second and see what it wants to do. But for right now, I think it's pretty clear that this market wants to go lower, and that's Tesla. And I would just wait. Again, if you're going to short it, I would still wait for a pop. But right now, the momentum clearly is downside. So again, congratulations to anybody that was able to execute the way we did on that. All right, DJT. DJT is the place to be, and apparently that is true one more time here today, because if you're looking for movement, this one, we will be slightly red on it on DJT, but again, upside out of half, and leave it. And the thing is, it looks like our out was a bad one. I was going to give it to 29. We actually talked about that. I was like, oh, my stop's going to be 29. Now I wish it was. But I just felt like a break of this $30. It was right into there. That let's just get out, and we'd already had ourselves a day. So for me, it was kind of like, let's just be patient with it and see what DJT can give to us maybe a little bit later. So, and I think it's giving the goods right now. I mean, it looks like it wants to bounce off $30. So if there was a play in this name, I think DJT in and around this $30 makes a little bit of sense. So that would be something if you're looking at a trade, DJT to bounce off 30, give it to about 29.50. And then I think you have at least 50 cents, right? That's where we've stopped. So if you're going to play a range, you want to pick the bottoms and the tops, and that's 50 cents. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. That would be that bottom wick, but that's what trading is all about, is taking a little bit of risk. And I think risk to reward right now on DJT might just be it. That Cardano is also getting me a little bit of ways. Like maybe we should just get out of some of that. So we have a lot to think about as we get ready, and we'll try to do some laps in the pool, and we'll see if we can focus on where we want to get in and out of our positions here again. So good day so far here today. We're back in the afternoon. It'll be Neil's last show for about a week and a bit, and we'll give the send off. So join us back at 2 o'clock. For the midday, though, it's Satya and Obi. And I mean, no perfect of a day. You know, Satya, we brought her on for crypto action. So if you have any questions about maybe what's been happening in the space and what she's seeing, or, you know, the rumors or the next trade, I'm not going to, I don't know. I'm not going to.
Well, the question.
No but these guys do. So, yeah, go ahead, Neil.
No, the question to me right now is what's going on with CleanSpark? We're going to talk about a firm. I still haven't really seen.
What's up with that?
CleanSpark still halted, and obviously there was some rumors that it could have just been some price action or a lot of volatility or trading that caused it, but it's information request by the Nasdaq. But I was just pulling up a firm because a firm is now 30 cents away from going SSR, 10% to the downside, and you know it's doing something distinctly different. So if it gets underneath 44, I think it can be a potential SSR bounce play. Distinctly different from Upstart, which is now up 40%. I just can't even, like this one, like I said, it's just a pure squeeze. I'm shaking my head because it obviously doesn't make a ton of sense why this is happening, but it doesn't have to. You know, why is this stock up 4x since the beginning of August? Because it's a 35% short flow. And I'm red on it because I took a shot and I swung and missed on the short trade. So Tesla was flat because before Tesla ran the stop, it ran down and gave a profit, so that's why. Whereas this one, I was in and it hadn't actually pushed down. Like it pushed down after I got out. Let's go over see how the U.S. dollar is doing with Adara and Money Talks. But that Affirm is starting to set up for the SSR bounce. I can't believe that stock.
So far, a pretty normal average size candle for the DXY in the daily chart, which is only notable because of that massive push up we had on Wednesday, followed by that drop down yesterday. Currently here, trying to get above that previous resistance. This top, we're currently near the wick area there, around 104.70. So decent place here for the DXY if it can decisively stay above that resistance level, which we know we struggled with in the latter half of October. In terms of economic data, we had a higher than expected Michigan consumer sentiment print earlier today, 73 versus forecast of 71 and previous of 70.5. And then we got some interesting stuff here with these Michigan preliminary here inflation for November. So they're seeing 5-year inflation higher than expected, 3.1% versus 3% expected. And then we have 1-year inflation lower than forecasted. So 2.6% is what we got. We were expecting here 2.7%. So interesting mixed look there, but the main number, Michigan consumer sentiment, higher than expected so far. At 11 a.m., we have our first Fed speak since the FOMC decision yesterday. It's going to be comments from Fed's Bowman in just 9 minutes. So stay tuned for that. Fed's Bowman, you may recall, was the one Fed member who dissented from September's decision. But now we actually had all 12 Feds agreeing with our November decision, which was, as expected, a 25 basis point cut. So we'll see how the DXY continues to react, but no major economic data with the exception of that Fed speech, guys.
Right now, Tesla's on. I mean, we were just talking about this.
Still going.
Tesla on its way back up right now, up to 317. So Tesla, I mean,
this is
good out for sure, but look at the bounce off the 50-period moving average. I mean, we actually have a video coming out, I believe. And Andre, I have another perfect example of a 50-period moving average trade right there and then right there again. So, I mean, some really, really great opportunities here for this. So there goes Tesla, up 7%. And Neil and I just said, like, maybe SMR. I better start writing these things down.
It's still going.
Because
by the way,
there's
SMR
names I got to get out of. I got to get out of some. I mean, here's SMR. I got to get out of some of this, honestly. It's still going? Not really.
13.
Okay, so I got to get out of SMR.
Well,
no, I'm writing this down.
It's trend up.
Palantir, SMR, Tesla, ADA.
Well, that's
put in the chat if you guys know what ADA is.
They know what ADA is.
Do they? Hopefully they do. And that might be it for now. Oh, and let's go. I have to phone my friend Jeff and figure out what his price target is there for Amazon. So we'll get out of that one potentially for a little bit as well.
Not the same Jeff.
No, Jeff Bezos, not the same. Jeff
I was gonna say
not the same Jeff that you and I know. I don't think that guy has an opinion on Amazon.
Well, that's exactly why I was like.
Yeah. No. First of all, I'm not phoning any of my friends for advice on stocks. I don't know unless we have different friends.
That's why.
None of the friends that we have.
That's why I did a screw face. 'Cause I'm like, huh?
Yeah. We're not asking any of those jokers about stocks, but
Way too,
at
though.
the
Way
same
too.
time, right now, $25 for this is a trade, right? And we've been in this name since 11, 12, 13. We bought 13, we bought more at 11, average price 12 and change. Good move up there for SMR on earnings. Like yesterday, we talked about this on the recap show, and we were like, it wasn't like shaking my head. They came out yesterday and did this to the downside. So that's why we did that SMR, and I said shaking my rear. But today, really nicely done back up to the upside right there as we break through $25, a place we've never been. This is again, a uranium play. Very, very low market cap, but really starting to get going there. New Scale is the name. We like the stock. And then I wrote down Palantir. I mean, it was a joke on Monday that this name could get to $59. And I said, if we get to $59, maybe take the week off. Unfortunately, Neil's gone next week, so we cannot. But there it goes right there. It's a nice move on
Well, Thanksgiving's
Palantir.
coming up.
Yeah, I already have all that booked off. We're actually not, I don't know, can we make that announcement there, Brendo? Not yet, okay. All right, so we're getting ready to go here we can? Oh, we can, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, you've been seeing some engineers wandering around here. You saw Fabian almost kill himself on the ladder and things like that. So they are doing some work in the building, and it's going to be Good Friday, which I believe is the 29th. It's late this year. It's only a half day in the market. There will be no show.
Black Friday.
Black Friday, sorry. And that is I think it's the 29th. I believe. I shouldn't be making this announcement if I don't know the date. Okay, so 29th. It's only going to be the first time ever, basically, that the market's been open, and we're not going to be. Okay. All right, so we will have the dashboard up on the main channel, but we will not be having our full. So this will be up. So those of us that are in here trading, you'll be able to see all of that, but I don't think we'll be here trading. So you'll be able to see all of the indexes and whatnot. So join us on that day. And we'll put some charts. We'll have some fun with it that day, but there'll be no show because we have to cover up all the equipment. And they're building like this major
it's like a case.
Apparatus.
It's like a case for the whole trading station and both trading stations. It's
the cover, and then the over there I was going to say
the production board.
But what's it? It's like you're in a play. This is the cockpit. That would be.
What do you?
Oh, there it is over there.
There's probably a technical word for what that is over there.
Anyways, command center. I was going to say like a command.
I don't know. The
anyways.
hub.
Which desk? Control desk. Yeah, control desk.
Sure.
That makes sense. You guys are in control of everything. Hey guys, hey, there we are. Hey. We have Josh Allen right here as well.
Light work this week.
Josh Allen. Yo, what's up? Obi and Sataya. As the cameras are everywhere, you cannot escape us.
I got to shout out to Adam DeLuz, though. Because Adam goes, Sean, Neil, it's nice for you guys to take a break. You deserve it. No, we're not trying to.
Break?
No, we're not trying to take a break on that Friday.
How mad I am?
We don't want to. And to be honest with you, sometimes, because I actually don't know if we're going to be able to trade that day, but those half days, people like to write off the half days in the market. By the way, trend break on a firm, and it's SSR, so in on the trend break, prior bar, see that prior bar support. I'm out if it breaks that, and we're playing out into VWAP. So there's my stop. No, but the half days can be really good. And we've seen this before, especially at the open where like everyone gets all their stuff done in the first half an hour and then they bugger off. So sometimes those open trades are fantastic on a half day. Trust me, there was one day, it was my very first, when I graduated and was starting to make money as a trader, the very first New Year's Eve I took off. And I'll never forget it because I was sleeping in and the trader that sat next to me woke me up. And it was like 11 o'clock, I really slept in. And he woke me up and was like, he was having his best day in the month. And I was like, yep, not doing that again. And I regretted it. It was just like, all I had to do was come in and trade half a day that day. And then I could have gotten ready for New Year's celebrations. But that's what it is.
Yeah, it's always nice to have best days. Yeah, exactly, best days of.
And you know who it was that woke me up.
Yeah, I mean, I was trading in there that day. Again, right now, we're having the best day that we've had of the month as well today, and it's 10:57, so I want to thank everybody. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. You do have Obi and Sataya ready to rock and roll, so they're going to be talking all about Fed, and pretty much everything that we didn't touch, they'll probably talk about.
But he didn't say that.
Good little spot. There's Obi. I mean, Obi's been really on one lately, so he's ready to rock and roll, so we're very, very excited to have Obi back at the helm here as Sharif takes a couple wrong days off, my guy there, Sharif, as he takes them off on Fed. interesting play. But Sharif has other things going on. So we'll hopefully, not hopefully, he will be back Monday, of course, and Obi will be with me.
Hope so.
And I hope so as well. If not, Brendan takes the desk, and starts to throw out some trades there.
In a minute. So before
that probably won't be happening, but
before we get out of here, though, Tesla almost got to VWAP. That was real close, and the buying did come in. It's a very you can see the seed change that Tesla put in since that whatever you can call it, a rejection candle. It doesn't really matter, a hammer candle, whatever you want to call it. But back into VWAP is going to be a bit of a play. Firm looks like it took that prior bar low. I'll have to zoom out so you can see sometimes when you have a tight stop. Just so I wanted you to see the execution. We're in on the trend break. I didn't save the trend line because I feel like that's the thing that's triggering my issues. But anyways, it did break that prior bar low, which is another thing that I've used from Obi. Sometimes I'll just put it, before I would just put that stop at the even dollar because it's the even dollar. And then just to tighten up the strategy is to give it to the prior bar low. And I found that that's actually helped because when it works, you're getting the same move into VWAP. And a lot of times you're getting a nice little tighter exit point there where you're losing sometimes half the amount. And if it's a counter trend trade, that's what I want. I want a very, very tight stop where I know it's working right away. So that prior bar, because you're getting in because it's that wick. So why give it to the low of the day? If it's because of that wick, then I want to give it to that close to the downside, like this last one on a rejection candle. So I like it to be a little bit tighter there. Then you're not giving that entire space when you're going counter trend. So I hope that made a little bit of sense. Randy's in the building. He's coming back in. I'm eating the other half of my brisket today, Randy, because I'm not like you.
Don't tell Randy where it is my advice.
He's not going to steal my brisket.
Really?
No. Randy's on. He's honest, dude.
I mean,
he finished his in 10 minutes.
I'm telling you, if that
I couldn't even finish mine.
I mean, it's from his mouth. I mean, if it stays there for too much longer, see what I'm saying? This is what I mean. Look, Randy's a man of integrity. He's telling you that he will eat it, so I believe that. That was really good.
I'm believing.
I brought it home, and my kids and Marissa were like, "Damn, that was some good brisket."
I'm literally going to get up and get it right away once we.
I was saying this to Neil on the show. I don't know if I was also saying it to you, but I thought that they had a little bit more little couple burnt ends in there. It was really. Yeah, and then those onions were so good. Honestly, I'm never going back to that other brisket place. Just to let you, the
other place was good too.
Nah, it was aight. It was aight. It wasn't like $19 winner aight, but it was aight. It was aight. Right there. All right, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you, Randy, for all the deliveries of the coffees today. Thank you, Tesla, for making the morning. Thank you to everybody for watching. I mean, what an epic day it's been. It's going to get even better because you're about to go to our #1 show on the platform. It's our Midday Madness, and today it's with Obi and Satea. Midday Mayhem. Midday
Madness.
Anything you want. Money Midday.
Midday Magic.
Anything. The magic has arrived on the midday. About to get... The show's kind of mid. No, just joking. We love the show. It's the Midday Madness. It's Obi. It's Satea. We'll be back at 2. Peace. Thanks, Bears vs. Bulls.
Yo, yo, yo. What's happening,
What is up,
guys?
everybody? I'm Satea. This is Obi.
Hello.
And